The story of a drunken superstar cop down on his luck and trying to solve a murder. Hello, kitty. Yep, he just wanted to say hello and walk off. I've also lost my train of thought, so let's begin with the beginning then. One thing that this overlay, that I'm doing this on Twitch rather than YouTube, is because there is an overlay which in theory allows for some random voting on certain options. I don't know how in-depth that is. Apparently you can also check stats and boost things as well, somehow. So we'll work that out as we go. In the meantime, though, I think we're all fine with most of that. Everything's set up. I'm going to go new game, and we're going to see how this goes. I tried this a while back, and for whatever reason, it didn't stream correctly. It appears to be working fine now, though, so huzzah. I think we are going to create our own character for this one, because it makes the most sense to do so. Do we want to be really good at punching people, but useless at everything else that makes us a detective? Oh, that's psyche, not physique. Whoops. Yeah, do we want to be mentally gifted, but yeah, a twig? Maybe not. I think in general you don't want things below 2, especially on psyche and especially on physique, because these directly affect how many hit points you have and how many sanity points you have to a certain extent as well, so we'll save those. We can just press a random button and see what happens. We get intellect, which is fair. Motorics is quite useful. Physique allows you to bypass a few things, as well as also potentially get to... I played the first 3 days of this game to death, and I basically got limited knowledge of the rest of it. Although I have finished the game once. Not sure I finished it particularly well, but I have finished it. So what do we think? A Shawhawkian thing. Also, we have one viewer. Hello! Maybe I should just go free all across the board, be completely Joe average, because that at least gives me a rough ability to do things. The problem is it's going to be sort of a jack of all, master of none, and we're going to really struggle with certain checks, but equally we'll be able to possibly do everything. However, that seems dull and boring, so we'll see. Let's put 4 points into Motorics, I suppose. Intellect and Psyche, and we'll go with that, I guess. The one drawback of this is we'll encounter quite early, but we'll worry about that when we get there. When this goes on YouTube, I will probably put a timer to when we actually get to the end of character creation. So if we say that's fine now, we can then pass across and pick up our main skill here. So basically we can gain a +1 to any of the 24 skill checks that are prevalent within the game. Most of these are happening in the background without us actually having to do specific things, especially with regards to the Psyche ones and the Intellect ones to a certain extent. But Logic, raw intellectual power, which allows us to work things out. Encyclopedia is just random knowledge. Rhetoric is persuading people to do things. There are a few important rhetoric checks in the game. Drama has its flaws at high levels, which I discovered. It's quite funny, actually, really. Conceptualization is art and understanding. Visual calculus is basically recreating crime scenes. Volition is morale. So getting volition basically allows us to have morale points. Those will eventually go down as we discover things about our character we don't like. Inland Empire, gut feelings, hunches, whatever. Surprisingly, there's quite a few of these. Empathy is probably the main one that gets noticed as far as I was aware of my previous playthroughs. Authority is convincing people that, you know, we are the police. Cop culture. Suggestion is playing the charm game. Limited uses, although there's one check very early on that's quite amusing. Endurance is obviously being able to take hits. It's also our physical stamina bar. Pain threshold allows us to break down doors, ultimately. That's what pain threshold does. There are a few other things. Physical instrument allows us to beat people up. Electrochemistry, drugs, knowledge. Shivers. Shivers is a weird one. We'll go back to Shivers. And Half-Light is threatening people. Hand-eye coordination is pretty much shooting anything with a gun. There's a few checks that involve that. Perception is just finding things. Reaction speed is dodging things. Savoir-faire is basically sneak and being a complete git while doing it. Absolute panache, indeed. Interfacing is lockpicking and a few other basically small, fiddly things with your hands. And composure is poker face. So, as mentioned, empathy is probably one of the ones you find a lot and you get a lot more information out of it. Drama's amusing. Endurance has some benefit, but I think we'll mostly gain that as part of the main story anyway. Let's go empathy. Because we find out things with your empathy. So each of these stats can be improved a number of times equal to our base in it, so we will have abilities to upgrade each of these stats, but obviously the 2 in physique means that we can most of the time only get 4 in any of the physical stats. But we will see how that goes. Confirm, and let's begin the story. Begin.
There is nothing. Only warm primordial blackness. Your conscious ferments in it. No larger than a single grain of malt. You don't have to do anything anymore. Ever. Never, ever.
So we can simply carry on non-existing, or we could ask the question never, ever, ever. In this instance, we're going to simply keep on non-existing.
An inordinate amount of time passes. It is utterly void of struggle. No ex-wives are contained within it.
This is great. Give me some more. What was that about the X something? Do we care about the X something? Not sure. Seeing how this goes here with the companion, which should be doing a thing. It is. Actually, this is working reasonably well here. Do we have the poll up? Is it even giving us options? I'm not even sure. However, I am noticing the overlay is actually working for me, at least. So, stat things, we have a taskbar. Don't appear to be able to make selections here, possibly because they're not significant. So, we're going to ask about the X something.
An awareness creeps up on you. A mass lies hidden in your dead angle, soaking in some lurid acidic sauce. It's bloated and shameful, a ball of meat surrounding you. This is a terrible line of questioning, and it will only lead to more awareness of the meat thing.
Do we want to know about the meat thing? This is an important question. Let's ask about the X something. We don't want to find out what's
Ex-love, ex-tenderness. It is foolish of you to resurface to the loss. Not after all the damage you've suffered to get here. Some of it irreversible. Stay.
Oh, okay. That's how it was.
Sail with me through the abyss of pelagic zone.
Okay, so I actually have to select the button, I think, for there, and then it gives up the percentage bars, and then, okay. Nobody currently here at the moment. We have one viewer who might actually be me, so we're not going to worry too much about that. But at least we now know how these things work. That is... I don't even know what I've selected with that one. Not sure. There might have been a random stat increase that we allowed ourselves. But anyway. Alonzi, never let me go.
Alright. Nothing down to fuck all, Borough.
Okay. A return trip to the silence, please.
Do you want me to upgrade that to a one-way trip, sir?
Don't stop. Keep singing. Sing me the song of death.
The song of death is sweet and endless. But what is this? Somewhere in the saw, bloated man meat around you. A sensation.
Oh, not sensations.
Like a fly to the ointment, your conscience sticks to it. The limbed and headed machine of pain and undignified suffering is firing up again. It wants to walk the desert, hurting, longing, dancing to disco music.
Mother help me, there's a head attached to my neck and I'm in it.
The stench of liquor rises from your mouth, and with it, an ungodly headache.
Help someone, get my head off, it's trying to burden the rest of me.
A fiery streak penetrates your skull, trying to force your eyes open. It's a sound, a clarion call from hell.
And we are awake. Okay, well let's first off pick up some underwear.
You hear a jingle. Keys are clinking in the pocket of your flare-cut pants.
Dish them
It
out.
says whirling in rags on the aluminium key ring. There is a single key on the ring. The number 1 is etched on it. It should open the door.
And maybe it will. Right, let's also check out the bottle. And let's check out this. We have an empty cassette tape. Someone saw out the tape while the song was playing. Real tape player is still on, rolling empty. Also, we found a shoe. Having gained that left foot, let's go and check out some other important things in this room. We can also hold tab to highlight things, which we can then use. Have our overcoat. Words fail to describe how rank it smells in here. They should have sent a poet. Unfortunately, they sent us. Bottles in the bathtub, wine, beer, and sweet liqueurs. Let's grab our shirt. And finally, let's check out this mirror.
A mirror hangs above a bent and broken sink. In a fierce discharge of masculine energy, someone has ripped half the faucet off. Hot water sprays from the base, and steam covers the mirror. You cannot see yourself, just the outline of a man. Suddenly, you realize you have no memory of the face that awaits you there, underneath the soft vapor.
Really? Nothing?
Really, all recollection of the person you are, the people in your life, and even the world you're in has drowned in a sea of blood alcohol. This was no mere night of drinking. It was a deluge of world-ending proportions.
We shall wipe the mirror.
As you slowly reach your hand towards the surface of the mirror. Abort. You clearly have not thought this through. You won't like what you see there, and you will never unbecome it.
So occasionally, your psyche tells you things. Some of these things are useful. Some of them are not. This is in Success and Inland Empire that says we're not going to like what we see. Maybe we should touch it first to make sure there's nothing wrong with my face.
Yeah, there is definitely something wrong with it.
What? What's wrong?
Where to even begin? There is the bloatedness, then the swollenness. It's like there's an upholstery of alcohol underneath your skin.
At least my tongue is okay.
It's not. It's swollen and snail-like, wriggling between your fingers.
Well, okay. Let's wipe the mirror.
Behold,
Behold!
you have no idea who this thing is, do you?
Yes, we do. Now, I would normally put some votes on it, but again, we only have one viewer currently, so we're going to say we are some kind of superstar. And clearly, we are. I mean, look at him.
It appears you're also dead. There's clearly rigor mortis on your face. Oh wait, is that an expression? Are you trying to make an expression with that face? Why?
I think it might be because I'm a superstar.
Please stop. It's horrible. You're scaring yourself.
I disagree. This is what superstars do. We're going to keep
You
making
can't,
that face.
can you? It's like it's not even voluntary anymore. You have worn that grin into your face, and now it won't come off. What does it even mean? What is the emotion you're trying to convey?
Superstardom.
You should check yourself for a pulse, superstar. From here it looks like a cadaverous spasm.
Very well, let's check for a pulse and see if we're actually alive.
You find no sign of life on your swollen neck. However, putting your hand on your chest reveals an irregular heartbeat. You appear to be alive. For now.
Hey, alive for now will do. So we have a couple of checks that we can do here, based on our current stats. Electrochemistry requires an 18 on 2 dice, alongside of our normal stats. You can always get a success on a double 6, which is why it's showing us 3%. The encyclopedia check, we actually have an encyclopedia score of 3, so needing to get a 13 or a 10 plus is possible, but not easy. We're going to attempt to locate the source of the expression.
Like the rest of you, it comes from a bad place, somewhere in the past. That's all you know for now.
So the way this now works is, if we ever improve our encyclopedia score, we can actually come back and reattempt this check. There's a lot of white checks you can do. There are red checks, which are one time only, and normally there's no coming back to them. Well, it's fairly obvious what these are and usually why. Anyway, let's have a go at this.
It's
because
too
why
late.
not?
Like an image on film. The expression belongs to your primary motor cortex. It would take a minor neurological miracle for you to cease producing it.
We will let the mirror be for now. One other thing that we did pick up while we were doing this is we have now got some items. These items change our stats slightly by what we're wearing, so it is important if we know we need to do a certain check towards the game to adjust what we're wearing so that we can maximize our chances at it. In the meantime, though, there is one more item we need to get, and one more thing we need to do in this room. So,
This fan has 2 chain pull switches. One ends in a tiny fan, the other in a light bulb. A truly horrific necktie has somehow attached itself to one of the blades.
we're going to pull on the fan.
The blades come squeaking to a halt. It should be easier to reach the tie now.
So by doing that, we now get a +3 to this check, which means that we now have a 92% chance of grabbing the tie.
You swoop up and catch the tie. Snap. It's released from the blade. What you have in your hand is a truly hideous necktie, with 4 or 5 different patterns. The knot reminds you of a noose.
Okay, we're not going to pull the light bulb, because if we pull the light bulb, we're actually going to cause ourselves some physical damage. But we are going to see if we can check this out without it.
The window stands broken in its frame. Cold wind blows in.
Let's look
The
out.
morning light hurts your eyes. It's hazy, but you see the ocean and some war-torn buildings. The shards face outward. Whatever broke this window came from the inside.
So I break it with my own
A
hands.
fine web of scarring covers the back of your right hand, but none of it is recent. More likely a projectile than a held object. There are no fragments on the floor from pulling a tool back in after impact.
Wait, what am I doing?
Something you've done before.
Assess the size of the impact.
It is too large for a bullet, yet too small for a piece of furniture. You're looking for something heavy and larger than your fist. The single green shoe you found fits the hole almost as well as your foot. It would have also been heavy enough if thrown with force. Congratulations. You smashed the window with your own shoe.
Hooray, we've solved
Now
the
you only
case.
have one. If you're lucky, you could still find the other one on the balcony outside. The door to it should be outside your room.
We should go and get that shoe.
Cool wind gushes in. Your toes curl up from the cold.
Okay, let's head out and get that shoe. Thus solving the first of the many, many tasks we will have to do throughout this campaign. Also, let's zoom out a little bit and grab ourselves some money. We have 40 cents. That is all the money we have for the moment. We will need more. Okay, so as we walk around, we will eventually get some random checks, which get triggered from there and here. Based on our stats, some of these are more possible than others.
There they both are. Two identical shoes, both copiously green and indiscriminately snakeskin, reunited on your feet,
Huzzah!
like two baby crocodiles.
How do they fit?
Good, they're balanced, comfy. Feels like the only good thing about you right now, truth be told.
We could possibly have saved that until, we had some morale damage, but, it's always nice to get our shoes back. And it's one job done. Also, just when we get back into here. Shoes give ourselves +1 composure, but we lose some self-affair. We actually have lost a lot of that at this point. But it's fine. It's not as if we're going to need one of those checks imminently. We're going to need one of those checks fairly imminently.
Hello, officer.
Officer, you say?
The young woman raises a cigarette to her lips. Her eyes are brown, and her face is speckled with birthmarks. She can't be more than 28.
Officer, am I military personnel?
No.
Then why did you call me an officer?
Because you're a police officer, sir.
You sure?
I am, yes. Unless you've been feeding us a set of very well-rehearsed lies all this time.
All this time?
You've been here for 3 days. On official police business, no less.
What business is this? I'm extremely drunk.
Couldn't say. In truth, so far, mostly drinking.
Well, we have a few things we can do here, but we're starting to get to the point where this now may actually affect us later down the line. So, why don't there being a couple or anything else is probably not the best thing to be saying if we are one and she knows it. Who in the right mind would let me be an officer of law is a fair question. And also, we could try the expression on her. This is a 17% chance because of our low suggestion score, possibly because of what we're wearing as well. But we're just going to get going, I think, because most of the rest of this is probably going to cause problems.
Of course. Be careful, officer. They don't like the police around here.
Although it would have been amusing to say some of the other options. I'd have probably given
Something
people the
stirs
option
in
for
you
that
she's
if
about
it
to
came
go.
to it.
Call it an instinct, a need. The need to ask questions.
Oh no,
It's like
questions.
you've said the words a million times before. She looks back at you, a light glinting off her eyes.
Yes?
What year is it? Your room is almost next to mine. Did you hear anything last night? Probably a fair question. We might find out ourselves why we drunk ourselves into a stupor. Or we could ask what they have against the police, which is fair, but, we're police.
There was the usual ruckus. Loud disco music.
Did I have any visitors?
I couldn't say. It's impossible to hear people speaking from over here.
Loud disco music.
Oh, yes. Various artists. Ostentatious orchestration prime among them.
When you need to connect with
Oh,
you.
we're huge where I come from. I was very young then, of course. Like 7. Life gets hard, but we go on.
Yeah, we go on alright.
I don't know about that. At around 2 o'clock, the disco stopped, and there was a change of pace.
What happened?
A slow, sad song started playing, like organ music on repeat. That went on for quite a while. Some of the time, you were yelling along to it.
Was I seeing this? Since we have the case, we can do this.
Yes, there was a church in there. A really small church. Like the smallest, saddest church in the whole world. It was about that. And also,
What else?
that it doesn't matter anymore and that we're alone now. It was difficult to tell. The song itself was very quiet and soft, but you sounded like a wounded boar, sir. It was hard to understand what you were singing on top of it.
When you say wounded, do you mean that in a cool way, like a wild beast?
Yes, It was very cool.
Just checking. This is very important information. Yeah, we don't have an officer profile yet, but as we answer questions, we eventually get more information about this, so... Hello, Anyan! How are we doing? Then what happens?
Then you started screaming and trashed the place.
Are you sure I wasn't being assaulted? It's probably a good question here, because our room was completely trashed. Oh dear. That being said, we do have sort of features and an overlay currently on, which does allow some sort of voting. So let's have 15 seconds and let Anyan pick this for a change. One. I think you're actually just selecting the overlay, in truth, but we'll take one anyway.
No, it didn't sound like there was a fight. It sounded like someone was trashing their room.
Yeah, probably sounds correct.
A window was smashed. The tape player, probably. The song stopped. And furniture, too. A real destructathon. There was screaming. Then I think you passed out.
Please tell me there wasn't anything else. It prides me to hear this. Tell me there was more.
There was. I think you screamed that you didn't want to be this type of animal anymore. I may have misheard, but it was sort of memorable. I went out afterwards. Everything was quiet by then, around 4 or 5. And that was it.
Okay, well, we got some information out of this. We can possibly ask the Back to the Future question, but I don't think we necessarily want to. So we're going to leave things there.
Glad to have been of assistance.
Indeed. We now have a record of what we did last night. Sort of. Okay. The year is 51. This is important information that may be relevant for certain things. Also, we'll just zoom back out a bit. Trump did the mod. And now we're going to start the game proper. And we must do the important thing first, of course. This is where the lyrics would be. The old karaoke mic. We're just waiting for somebody to sing into it. Speakers connected to the radio. The music is seasoned with static.
You should totally sing karaoke here, the first chance you get. Your emotions need to be expressed. People need to know your vast, oceanic soul.
My soul is immense.
Utterly. And it needs to be heard. Through a PA system. By other people.
This goes well with a theory I'm developing that I'm a down-on-my-luck superstar person.
Who is mistakenly identified as a cop for his prominent jawline? Yes, sounds likely. You should probably go on stage and pose for a moment when you're done with this thought. See if it works.
What should I sing when it comes to it?
You should sing the sad small church song from that tape you found. Thought it was obvious.
Of course, they're really going to gauge on my soul with that.
Serves them right. Wipe that smirk off their face with your sad, tragic, small church song. Who's laughing now? No one. You would need another copy of the tape first, though. The one upstairs is destroyed.
This is unfortunate. We did destroy the tape. We will finish the fort. Can we stand up there? That's now going to do... You belong here. Okay, we've gained this useful and important information. Let's speak to you.
A man in his late 20s stands behind the counter, inspecting a stuffed seabird. As you approach, he gives you a sideways glance,
Kitty
then
trying to
looks
say
down
hi?
again. That was disdain in his eyes. Even now he is purposely ignoring you. Looks like he's not a fan.
How could he not be a fan? We're going to look at the stuffed bird.
A competent work of taxidermy. The white and brown seabird lies among piles of coasters and drying mugs. One of its wings broken. The man is trying to mend it. Looks like the bird was ripped off the shield that was used to mount it, most likely on a wall. A small engraved steel tag says, "The Great Skua, Ste Koari's Skua." Something about it makes you feel bitter.
What happened to the bird?
Look, your buddy is over there. Why don't you go and talk to him, okay?
I mean, I'm a cop, and I talk to whomever I please. Seems a reasonable response here.
He pretends not to hear you, concentrating on the bird instead.
We're also going to start triggering him a little.
No, I'm not the bartender. I'm the cafeteria manager.
He's very animated all of a sudden. This seems like a touchy subject.
What's the difference?
I have 3 cafeterias to manage. 3. Sylvie tends the bar here, not me. I'm only standing in.
Where did this Sylvie go?
She just, you know.
She in fact just you-knowed.
There's something there, and it's not good. That's all you know for now.
Since you're not a fan of mine.
Oh no, you're a hero. A real hero cop.
A real hero superstar cop.
Could the massive property damage upstairs have anything to do with this?
So not only am I a cop, but I'm a hero. I'm gonna take it as that.
Yes, you are. A real decorated hero.
What did I do?
What did you not do? First you took the body down, then you solved the murder, then you didn't trash my hostel room. Maybe you even negotiated the strike.
Oh my god, I did all these things? Okay, let's go for tone.
Oh, it's not?
It's not!
You're right. It's not.
Good. Got a hold of himself. We have nothing further to say to him. For the moment. There will be many more things in the future. Also, we have some drugs. This means we can now take a bit more physical damage if we need to. Someone is working. Union paraphernalia, strike poster, some red pennants. Mess hall reserved for Union members. Doors open at 1600. And this royal pinball machine is unplugged. Let's talk to the officer.
A bespectacled man in an orange bomber jacket is tapping his foot on the floor. Looks like he's waiting for someone. As you approach, he narrows his eyes and extends his hand in greeting.
Greetings!
If an assault were launched on this building right now, if the windows came crashing down and the whole world descended upon you, this man would hurl himself in death's way to save you. You are sure of this. But why? On the sleeve of his bomber jacket, as well as on its back, are the same enigmatic white rectangles as on your blazer.
Hold on, who is he to me?
He is your half-brother.
Well, we're going to then shake our half-brother's hand.
Hello. I'm Kim Kitsuragi, Lieutenant, Precinct 57. You must be from the 41st.
You realize he's waiting for your name. This is your chance to come up with a really good name for yourself. Get creative. Conceptualize.
Okay, so we have some options here. We only get one chance to invent a name for ourselves, which is important. We could say we don't know our name, which possibly is going to be strange and odd, or we could just say nothing. What are our odds here? We have about even. We're better than even odds if we go for making up a name for ourselves. But that might involve lying to a police officer, which, you know, we are one. Depends what we want to be doing here. To be fair, you can't really screw things up too badly at this point, as far as I'm aware. In fact, this whole game is a lot about screwing up and not entirely being the best of police officers anyway. We're gonna be passive and say nothing.
It looks like we had a little scheduling error on Sunday. Saturday too, actually. Have you had time to talk to the manager here?
You mean him?
If you don't mind, we should talk to him again. Ask him for a rundown of the area. Now that I'm here as well. I understand the scene is out back, right? It also wouldn't hurt to assure him the police are finally here. In full force, I mean. Have you mapped out the initial interviews?
I'm gonna say that I haven't because I don't know.
Okay, we'll have time for that after we take a look at the coroner's case. Have you removed the dead body from the tree?
Dead body? We heard about a dead body a little earlier, but yeah, we've not done that. Gonna say no.
So, the body is still in the tree.
This is the first time you detect a weariness in the lieutenant's voice. It is obvious he would have preferred for the body to no longer be in the tree.
I think we all would by this point.
Where it has been hanging for 7 days straight. We should go there as soon as we are done talking to the owner.
How can you be so sure for the place? Well, in fairness, we got the bars on us as well, so... let's just get moving.
After you, officer.
So we now have 2 tasks. We must inspect the victim's body, and we must interview the
If you're
cafeteria
about to
manager.
embark on an investigation, shouldn't you have a badge?
Shouldn't I have a badge or something?
You mean you don't have a badge?
Wasn't on me when I woke up.
Losing your identification card is a serious matter. My vehicle has a shortwave. You can use it to report your badge missing. I advise you to try to locate it as quickly as possible, but getting the body down should still take precedence.
So, find a badge. Also, interview him. Also, get the body down from a tree. 3 things that we have to do.
The man
Let's
with
start
the
with the
unimpressive
easiest.
beard notices you approaching. He drops the ledger he was holding and turns to the lieutenant.
Mr. Gart, right? You run this place.
Yes.
I am Kim Kitsuragi from Precinct 57. This is an inter-district investigation, so joining me from Precinct 41...
We're still going to say nothing. We have no information on what our name is at this point, and I don't feel like making one up. I could say the Harbinger of Ruin, or that we're between names, but both of those seem a bit passive, and this means we're not lying to Kim.
Right. Now, I know it took us a while to arrive at the scene. It also took you a while to call us and report the dead body. It was you who placed the call, yes?
No, I only just got here. It was probably Sylvie who called you. She usually works the bar here. I'm only temporarily taking over her duties.
Do you have her number?
As a matter of fact, I do.
This sounds like something you can use to call this Sylvie later.
Yes, I'm sure that'll be an informative discussion that we'll have.
You said you just got here. From where? Are you a local?
What, of Martinez? No, I live in Jamrock. I only sometimes come here to keep an eye on the place. This is just one of the many, many cafeterias I manage.
But you still know your way around, yes? In case we need directions.
Yes, I know where some things are, but as I said, I don't live here. I just used to work here. And I'm not going to start working here again, if that's what you think.
I didn't imply that. Detective,
Yes?
I have everything. You?
Oh, you mean do I have questions? Let's ask them.
Yes, yes. He means, do you have questions for me, like a police officer would?
Where exactly is the body?
Behind this building, there's a courtyard. They hoisted him up on a tree there.
And how do we get there then?
That's easy. See that door there? First you exit through that. Then, to your right, you should see a big hole in the fence. A really big one. You can get to the courtyard through there. No need for the keys. The hole is big enough for the Franco-Nigerian cavalry to fit through.
Does he want you to feel guilty of making that hole? It's implied in his voice.
Maybe we did, maybe we didn't. Who knows? Who killed him?
I don't know who killed him. I'm not the police. That's your job.
Nearly had the case cracked.
He doesn't know. He just said they hoisted him up on a tree. Who is this they?
When I said they hoisted up a tree, what do you mean by they?
Oh, people are saying it was the union dock workers, that it was a lynching.
And who's saying that?
The locals, the customers, the people who eat here, a lot of dock workers eat here. Sylvie told me everyone knows the dock workers did it.
Did the debarders themselves tell her this, or is it a rumor?
I don't really know. You'll have to ask her.
Why would the dock workers lynch this man?
I would suppose it's because they have nothing better to do.
Boredom. Got it. We got a motive.
You mean the strike?
Yes, the strike. The man they hanged was a security guard for the harbour company, I hear. A mercenary. The unionistas probably thought they'd send a message.
We could ask if he killed them, but honestly, he's only been here a day, and we know he's been up there for 7, so it's probably not him.
The lieutenant turns the page in the little notebook he's been scribbling in.
Yeah, asking silly questions is not something you want to be doing as often as you can. You can get away with it, but, you know. Depends whether you want to be good cop or not, I suppose.
She went away because none of your business.
This is the second time you've avoided the subject.
Oh my god, what is your obsession with this Sylvie person? Get over it.
Maybe it's he who's obsessed with this Sylvie person. Certainly sounds like it.
That's all.
Let's go.
Not so fast. You owe me 130 real.
What's real?
Oh, excuse me. You owe me 130 real.
The IIR, or Inter-Isolary Real, is the global reserve currency. Whatever part of the world you're in right now, it's safe to assume he means you owe him some money.
You mean money?
Wow, you're a genius. Yes, that's right, money. You owe this establishment 130 real.
What do I owe this place for?
Let's see. 3 nights at a tariff of 20 real comes to 60 real. Then there's the window you annihilated. The hole in the window was the first thing I saw when I came to work. So don't try to tell me you didn't. That will be 40 real in damages. Another thing you've annihilated is half the bar. You've run a tab of 30 real. Actually more, but we'll round it down to 30 for your hard work maintaining the stability and order of Revachol. That's 60 plus 40 plus 30 equals 130 real.
But
And
what
yes, real is still money.
But what exactly is money, really, when you come down
What
to
are
it?
you, a philosopher?
Actually, I might be.
Money is what grown-up people use to pay for things. Things like this hostel room, or 8 bottles of potent blend, and 9 packs of Royal Extra. We use it for everything, really.
There's a shuffle of nylon as Lieutenant Kitsuragi looks for something in the pockets of his orange bomber.
Kim, you're not paying him. But anyway, yeah, so we owe 130 real to that. We've encountered an error. Well, okay then. We do have some other people we can talk to. Let's talk to you.
Hello, sweetie.
Lena, the cryptozoologist's wife.
Wait, who's Sweetie?
Who is Sweetie?
Why, you are, officer.
I'm no Sweetie. Look at me.
You're a handsome man, officer, with your mustache and your chiseled jaw and that silly dimple on your chin.
Well, thank you very much.
You must forgive me. I'm getting so scatterbrained. I completely forgot to introduce myself. I'm Lena. My husband Morel and I are staying with our friend Gary just down the street, but I come here for tea when they're away.
This Lena is wacky enough for the motley crew. Hire her on the spot.
How'd you like to roll with me?
Whatever do you mean?
I want you to be my wheelchaired partner in fighting crime, ridding piles of corpses, catching sequence killers.
Sequence killers? Oh my. But I think you already have a partner, sweetie.
A partner who needs you to help him get a corpse down from a tree.
I know, but there are always side mysteries, sequence killers and forays into the
I
natural.
can assure you, with absolute certainty, there are no sequence killings taking place in Martinez.
We will see. We will see, Kim.
Now, gentlemen, no need to squabble. I wouldn't be of much use to you anyway, sweetie.
3 heads are better than 2.
Thank you, but Martinez isn't the most wheelchair-accessible place, you see. I'd slow you down. Perhaps another time.
Well,
Of
we'll
course,
get going.
dear.
One other thing we can do while we're in here is the bottle of rum and the dark liquid. But also we can talk to the sleeping dock worker.
A colourful piece of plastic is dangling from his carabiner. Makes your fingers itch. On the counter, rolled out of his open hand, you see a blister pack of headache medicine.
Oh, let's take
The
those.
man does not mind. You probably need them more than he does.
Let's inspect the plastic.
It's a dock worker's ID, doubling as a shift card and a job permit. A young, able-bodied man stares back at you from the photo. Santiago S. John.
So the question is, do we try to wake him up? Do we try to steal the ID for reasons unknown at this point? Or do we just leave? Anion, what do you want to do? Because we can always come back. We actually should probably adjust our interfacing skill if we're going to try and steal it in truth. 72 is good, but not great. And I think we could possibly improve our physical instrument. Though, maybe not with what we currently got equipment-wise, actually. Let's leave that for the moment. Head on out, and let's go and fight. Let's go and examine that body. Oh, but before that, actually, we can talk to you. Sign says, yep. It would appear as if the street names are,
The RCM in Martinez. What can I help you with?
You sound surprised.
We don't see a lot of police around here, that's all.
Questions?
Of course. What can I help you with?
Who are you exactly?
Me? I am just a gardener.
She hides it well, but behind the sweat and dirt there is something else in her rigid posture.
And what are you doing here?
I'm working.
On what?
I have a greenhouse in the yard there.
There's discomfort.
Whoops.
She stops mid-sentence.
Go on, it's okay.
As you probably know, there's a corpse hanging from a tree there. It smells pretty bad, so I have to take breaks.
Don't worry, miss. We are here to clean it up. You can get to work soon.
Thank you. My head is about to explode from all the salts I've had to inhale.
Salts? Ammonium salts. Perhaps useful for later.
Could be. Let's
Of
sleep for the
course.
moment.
I won't.
If there's a corpse, then you're going to need those gloves for the autopsy.
Can I borrow your gloves?
Sure, keep them. I have another pair.
And thus, we have a pair of yellow gloves, which give us a +1 to interfacing. So, stat experience earned. Let's get running. Also, there's that hole in the fence that was mentioned.
You see a set of tire tracks in the brown slush that covers the plaza mosaic.
Why am I looking at this?
Cop habit. You look at everything. This isn't case-related, you think.
What kind of vehicle drove through here?
Hard to say. Your vision is blurred, and you're having difficulty concentrating thanks to your relentless hangover.
Absolutely. All right. Let's see if we can
Tire
reconstruct.
tracks were left here by an unknown event that took place some days ago. It's a message, written in the language of burnt rubber. Some of that rubber stuck to the tiles right in front of the whirling-in rags. This is point A. The driver started there, and then accelerated straight into the fence, left a hole big enough for the Franco-Nigerian cavalry, according to the cafeteria manager. Why that pang of guilt again?
I wonder why. What happened next?
The driver proceeded to back out of the yard, barely stopping before hitting the adjacent building. Before heading south, must have been in a hurry.
Is this connected to the case?
I'm not sure. There are plenty of traffic accidents waiting to happen in Martinez. With the jam right here on the roundabout, I would keep them separate.
You could follow the track south. There seems to be a canal there. See where they went, if you find the time.
You are correct. This is a rather motor carriage-friendly city.
Somehow that makes you feel scared. You don't know why.
Well, we gained some info. Let's head up to here, where we see a body. Smells like spoiled meat and curdled dairy. A human being decomposes. There are some things around here that we might be interested in, though. Some more random drugs. We also have this, and we also have a random door
An
here.
inconspicuous pile of the roofing material, Eternite.
What is
It's
this?
nothing. Someone just left some roofing material slanted against an old shack. Because there's a secret door hidden behind the panels of Eternite. That's why they're too orderly. There it is. You see a shabby little door.
So this is important for potentially things going on a little later, but we'll don't need to worry about this
What
right
is
this
this,
moment.
then? A tool shed? Let's investigate.
I mean, there is a body we could investigate first, actually, so let's go do that. And we shall start with the footprints. See if we have
There are
enough
several
visual calculus to
footprints
manage
in the
this.
mud, left by work boots.
Actually, before we do that, do we have any pluses to visual calculus? We do not. We don't have any negatives either, so this is as good as we can do.
There are several footprints in the mud, left by work, maybe more than 12.
Okay, we got it.
No. 8 pairs of boots have shuffled back and forth in the mud. 1. Standard work boot, steel reinforced toes, number 46. 2. Standard work boot, steel reinforced toes, number 44. 3. Hobnailed work boot, steel reinforced toes, number 43. 4. Standard work boot, number 45 or 46.
Wait, which is it?
You don't know. It's a miracle you can tell the prints apart as it is. The cold must have preserved them.
More counting.
5. Another standard work boot, steel reinforced toes, number 44. 6. An aberration, light as air, even pace, same make of boot, but number 41. 7. The glowing outline of a standard work boot, number 46. But the imprints are twice as deep as the others. The weight exceeds 200 kilograms. 8. And yet another standard work boot, number 44. There's an aberration in the pattern of the sole, however. The right sole is smoother, more worn.
How many?
400 million. Definitely a good answer. But we got
I
8.
was pretty off then. I counted 20.
Same guys going back and forth.
I never got the hang of it. Hyperopia. Do you see anything out of the ordinary?
Heavy one, 200 kilogram imprints.
200? Could it be the combined weight of 2 people, one carrying the other who's tied up? Let's say a heavily built worker carrying a similarly built, soon-to-be-dead man.
He might be right. 200 kilograms of living weight is unlikely.
Okay, one of them was carrying him over.
Possibly, yes.
Light step, 41 shoe.
A woman or a kid?
Not sure there's any way to be sure at this point.
Understood. Anything else?
Aberration, one sole is smoother than the other.
Interesting. Let's name it the old soul.
What it is you have, Lieutenant?
Someone operating a workbench with a pedal? Like a joiner at the harbor. Or maybe a drummer?
He regrets it the moment he says it.
We're gonna nod.
I don't know why I said that. We are not looking for a drummer. We are looking for
We
a
do
group
not
of
embarrass
dock
Kim.
workers.
Kim is awesome.
Perhaps it could be a driver. A driver would wear out the right shoe before the left. The accelerator is on the right.
I actually think the exact same thing.
He doesn't seem to hear you, looking south toward the traffic jam instead. The machines are silent. The engines are all turned off.
We should keep our eyes open around the traffic jam. See whether anyone strikes out as a potential suspect. Seems prudent, no?
Very prudent. Let's carry on. Alright, how old do you think the tracks are?
A week, maybe? 7 days would fit the time frame provided to us by the caller, who reported the hanging.
It is not impossible.
How do you know?
I pulled last week's forecast for coastal Revachol. 7 days below freezing. The day before, the day of his hanging, was the last warm day.
Correct again. Sub-zero temperatures would preserve the tracks in a good state. The commotion here could have taken place a week ago.
What do you think happened here?
What do I think? A mob of people brought something heavy to the tree. One of them was carrying the victim. They shuffled around, especially under the tree. Then, after hoisting him up, they stood in a semicircle facing his direction. At first glance, this appears to be a lynching.
Indeed. They all stood in a row here and looked at the tree.
Okay, we've been through it. Alright, let's have a
The
look at the
corpse
body.
looks at you with bulging white eyes. The face around them does not look human. It's swollen and ready to burst. His lips are fish-like and his tongue like a ball gag in his mouth. You seem to be holding your breath.
Look down.
A cargo belt twists his neck at an unnatural angle. The body below appears stiff. It's letting out an ungodly rot. The smell seeps in, even through your clenched nostrils.
What is that? Why is that so bad?
Active decay. It's okay to throw up, officer. No one is judging.
Only the two kids.
He's about to blow! Cop's gonna blow, Kuno!
Well, let's do the
The
endurance check.
smell is repulsive. It pushes in from your mouth, more instant and more familiar than anything you'd expected. More fever than odor. It fills your mind, flushing you from within.
And now we begin the arc of attempting to get to
You
the
feel
body.
a great force ringing from your stomach. Your body curls and pushes it out, burst by burst, until a pool of vomit lies under your feet, and your throat stings from the stomach acid. The smell of Commodore Red rises from the pool. Among it, distilled spirit and bits of shish kebab.
Bloody corpse.
Keep it. The hangover is clearly making this worse for you. You could use some ammonia to clear your head.
Okay, let's go get
This
some
young
ammonia.
woman, the gardener, mentioned she used salts for the smell. If she doesn't have any, there might be some in the fridge store nearby.
Okay. Let's also examine this, because this has
This
some
trash
important things in
container
it.
is locked. The sliding lid has a padlock that says, "Whirling in rags." There's something in there, not necessarily connected to the case, but still.
Why am I looking at you, trash container? You're just a trash container.
Just a trash container. There is no such thing. Your fingers start to itch just looking at that padlock.
Lieutenant, what do you think could be in there?
Trash, food waste from the cafeteria. They lock these containers to keep the derelicts from flocking in. Could be evidence too.
Then we should open it immediately.
Mm-hmm.
How do we get the lock open?
We could try using a pry bar. There's one in my motor carriage, or
No ore. Pry bar.
we could ask for a key from the manager of the Whirling in Rags.
That
He
sounds
probably has
boring.
one.
Alright, fine. We're still gonna do this. Right, we'll speak to Kuno later, but for now, let's go grab those salts.
Hello again, officer. How are things?
Do you sell us some salts? I could use some.
Sure. I'm done with them. Go easy on that stuff. It gave me a terrible headache.
And while we are here, we might as well go in and just speak back to the manager again. See if we can mention Sylvia again. Or just annoy him further. Both are acceptable plans, I think.
The man with the unimpressive beard notices you approaching. He drops the ledger he was holding and turns to the lieutenant.
Mr. Gart, right? You run this place.
We already
Yes.
had this.
I am Kim Kitsuragi from Precinct
Wait.
57. This is an inter-district investigation, so joining me... Right.
Did it not
No,
say this?
Do you have her...
As a matter of
This sounds...
You said you just...
what? Of
But you still...
yes, I know.
I didn't imply that. I have everything. You?
Yes, yes. He means, do you have questions for me, like a police officer?
Let's go.
Not so fast. You owe me 130. Oh,
We do not need to assert ourselves here.
You know, I get this all the time. Some hobo comes... I'm sorry, but he has to pay.
Officer, maybe you are better... I'm sorry I
okay,
couldn't
there we
help more. You should take this up with you.
Good luck.
Alright, that's why I had the bug earlier, because it didn't actually give me the pay for
By
damages
the
quit.
way, where is home? The address is coming up blank, and this place sure isn't it.
I have no idea.
But you've been at this hostel cafeteria for only 3 nights. Where were you before? You had to be somewhere.
Up on Marvel Hill?
Why did you say that?
Lieutenant Kitsuragi, do you know a place called Marvel Hill?
No. But isn't that an expression, not a place?
Expression?
A saying. Up on Marvel Hill, a great high place. One that is impossible to climb back to.
That doesn't sound like somewhere you can stay if you run out of money.
Can I trace the way back somehow to the exact street, the exact number on a building?
You can try. Run some addresses in your head when you get the time. Maybe a street or an apartment will appear.
Okay, so we have the fort closet, where basically we get to put random ideas and thoughts about various things, which will give us some stats in the long run. We have 3 such slots available now, and we are going to start with the Lonesome Long Way Home, which does give us an encyclopedia increase while we're doing that.
Can I help you?
Okay, by the way, I'm going to sing karaoke here.
Absolutely out of the question.
Oh.
Absolutely in the question. First we find a sad banger. Then we sing this place to shit.
Sounds good. As a trash container, now back yours.
Mine? No, it belongs to the Whirling in Rags.
Thank you for clearing that up. Why do you keep the container locked?
Why? To keep the hobos and drunks out. That's why. And the neighbors too. They put their trash there and they don't pay for the garbage company.
I thought as much. And are you the only party with access to the trash container?
Well, yes. Us and the garbage disposal company.
It seems a little callous, doesn't it? Something stirs in you.
No, it doesn't. Nothing stirs in me. It isn't callous, it's common sense.
Okay then. Maybe you're callous yourself.
Maybe we are. We need those keys.
What do you need them for?
It concerns the case. Please cooperate.
Just bring them back once you're done, please.
Goodbye. Right, so we have 130 real we need, and we have 60 currently. Or 60 cents, anyway. Doesn't look as if we're going to be easily paying our debts tonight, but we'll see. Anyway, having done that, we can then go up and see if the ammonia has helped. It probably won't have done. Ladders for kids wouldn't hold the weight of a grown man. Good to know.
There he still is, looking right through you with his white eyes. The body below is entirely dedicated to that corpse smell. Emitting it is all it does now.
Okay, so we have a marginal chance. We need an 11 or a 12.
You crack open the ammonia ampoule.
We actually got it.
In. The odor of death is still stronger. It's a spell of the mind telling you to run, and your stomach to wring itself empty. With your eyes squinting, you stand in it.
Do they always do that?
They do after 7 days, yes. We are deep in decomposition here.
Alright, step
The
closer.
man before you is naked, but for a pair of underpants and enameled boots. His skin is greenish, marbled with decaying veins and blotched by lividity. A fading web of tattoos covers his chest and shoulders. The cargo belt used to fasten him to the branch above appears industrial in strength.
We shall inspect the boots.
The material appears to be ceramic. Its clean white stands in stark contrast to the decaying flesh above the knee. The man wore thick polymer socks, probably for padding. A fine array of interlocking plates covers them. Delicate and fragile, they feel alien to the world around you, out of place somehow. These are clearly not boots. They're armor, possibly part of a larger set.
We shall say such.
Indeed. Technically speaking, these are sabatons, not boots.
What kind of armor is this?
Ceramic plate. Zirconium dioxide, most likely. This is where the make would be. Under the heel. Fair weather. Fair weather model T500 VE. I'm guessing that's vitreous enamel. This is advanced stuff.
Material looks out of place here.
It is. It's expensive. We've requested similar material for our tactical units for years now. The constabularies deemed it too costly. In that time, we've lost 6 men to semi-automatics. For a full set, about 4 years of wages.
For the northwest region of Revachol, an officer's average yearly income is 5,500 real, unadjusted for rank.
Wait, my yearly pay is 5.5?
Not too much, yes.
It's enough.
The lieutenant nods, wiping his finger on his sleeve.
What happened to the rest of it?
The locals probably scavenged it. It would be odd if he had more on after 7 days. We should keep a lookout for these pieces. The armor could yield information. Maybe he'll know something.
Maybe he's wearing these boots and there is no rest of the armor. Probably a silly idea to suggest that, so we're going to go understood.
The sabatons dangle off the man's decaying form, ageless and synthetic.
How could this man afford such expensive hardware?
That's for us to find out. Mr. Gart implied he was security personnel for the harbor company. This confirms my own assumptions.
He's pretty advanced for a security guard.
I agree. This equipment is way beyond what a guard can afford.
Pull the boot off?
This feels dangerous. Are you sure?
Um...
The sabatons
Yeah, let's not
dangle
try
off
this
the
one.
man's decaying form,
I think we can
ageless
take the
and
boots, but...
synthetic.
Because you can certainly get other pieces of the armor later on, from what I remember.
A small bell-like sound fills the air, like tapping on the side of a porcelain cup.
It's anything but. This material is a kinetic redistributor. It spreads kinetic energy horizontally, from plate to plate, dissipating it entirely. See?
Faint, organic lines cover the plates where they separate into smaller ones. These plates then divide into smaller plates until there are hundreds of them altogether, like whirls of floorboards. The design looks organic, influenced by highly resistant wood materials, like lignum vitae and ebony perhaps.
What does this remind me of?
If trees were made of porcelain, this is what their cross-sections would look like.
Run your finger over the
The
lines.
smooth, glossy surface fractures into ever more intricate interconnections, peaking on the right sabaton, where you notice. The whirls are in the shape of a letter and number combination, E50, 100, 1000.
Serial number on the right sabaton.
Good. Can you read it to me?
Oh, he's not even going to give me the option of lying.
We have a make and a number. That's something. We can use the radio in my kinema when we're done. Either station can chase it for us.
The
Alright.
cadaver slowly twists on the cargo belt, his torso covered in tattoos, and extremities blotched pink and blue.
Let's inspect the belt.
The hangman's knot is pulled tight by the weight of the corpse below. Yellow, hard-edged polyester cuts into his neck. Above, a sliding buckle ties the belt to the branch. This is a steel-reinforced cargo lashing belt, big brother of the regular cargo belt. It's used for tying cargo under 6-rotor airships.
Tells me how I know, but it's a lashing belt used for airlifting.
Airlifting. I thought it was used on lorries for strapping cargo to them.
Apparently this is the reinforced kind for air transport. My brain tells me so. My brain tells me things.
The local harbor uses 6 rotors to shuffle containers around. I get the sense they use whatever was on hand, without paying much attention to not incriminating themselves.
So on in step there, the rope is reinforced with steel wiring.
I was afraid it would be. Thin steel wiring, parallel strands. This makes getting him down more problematic than I had assumed.
How did they even get him up there?
A noose is one of those things that's easier to use one way around.
Did they climb up using the kid's ladder?
That ladder can't carry a grown man. I didn't see any splintering either, did you? I think they lassoed the branch, then pulled on the belt to close the buckle.
The cadaver hangs from the cargo belt, limbs limp and torso covered in tattoos.
We're going to inspect.
An intricate web of blue lines stretches across the torso, from the right shoulder to the solar plexus. Each time they intersect, a small white star is formed in their crossing. Hundreds of fading asterisks riddle his skin. Their concentration is highest around his heart. His corpse is marked by stars.
What will mine be marked by?
Alcohol and heartbreak.
A map of the stars. I do see some similarity to astronomical charts. Great century Messinian, maybe. But this seems more particular. Customized somehow.
As if someone left out most of the night sky, filtering it through personal choice. The principle of this filter remains unknown to you. The thought dissipates, and you feel as though you were only half right.
What are we missing?
So am I.
He wears a wide leather belt around his waist and a gun holster under his arm. He takes a thin piece of milled aluminium from his coat pocket and pulls it open. Sounds like a sword being unsheathed. A small lens appears. Some sort of camera.
We'll let him work.
Shit, Kuno! What the fuck is that?
An instant color camera. I have only 2 ampoules, so nobody move. I don't want to waste one.
A sound, a shrill flash, followed by the breaking of a small ampoule of glass. You see streams of color pour onto the thick, glossy piece of paper, rolling out.
In case we need it.
Cool machine.
Yes. It is pretty cool, isn't it?
It is.
There is only one ampoule left. Use it wisely.
Yes, I can't remember what you actually need that second one for, but we'll
It contains
remember.
insight to the victim's person. By his build, I'd say this was a man of physical violence. The story he wanted his body to tell was important to him. It is his letter. To us. Someone should decipher it. We'll need to show it around.
Can I have it? I should look at it later about the... No, we'll say nothing.
Here, a souvenir. Don't lose it.
Okay, we won't lose it.
The glassy-eyed corpse looks by, his mouth mute and his skin as colorful as the chemical rainbow on the photo paper, teeming with opportunistic organisms.
Alright, now for the somewhat interesting one. We're going to look him in the eye.
His eyes are milky white and blind to the world, protruding comically from their sockets. There is no one home, just subaquatic terrors there. Dark brown hair grows on his head. His face is ready to explode from the organic processes inside. The death's head grin has passed. What remains is an unrecognizable mess.
Who are you, dead man?
The corpse is dead silent. You have no idea why you just said that.
Who is he? He is male, 40 to 50, with an athletic build.
So we have an Inland Empire check we need to
The
sort out at
corpse
a later
looks
point.
right through you as you distance yourself from its stench. Eyes like a shark.
Okay, let's squint and take a step back.
As you narrow your eyes, the monster before you blurs into a violent mess of green and pink. Only the lower extremities are pink with a dash of blue. His fatted hands, thighs, and his neck, just above the noose. The rest of the corpse appears dark green in the cold spring air. The cadaver slowly twists on the cargo belt, his torso covered in tattoos, and extremities blotched pink and blue.
So how do we get him down?
Are you sure we finished the preliminary examination of the cadaver? We might miss some of these things once he's done.
No, I think we've done everything. The only thing we could do is possibly an Inland Empire thing, and we don't have a skill point. Actually, we do have a skill point. No, we don't. We do not have a skill point. So, without the ability to do that, and I don't think we got any equipment that gives us anything more, we'll
The cadaver slowly twists.
We'll leave for the moment. Let's just have a quick check. So we do have the handkerchief for some money. We have the photo now.
An intricate web of blue
Interact.
lines stretches across the torso of the hanged man, from the right shoulder to the solar plexus. Each time the lines intersect, a small white star is formed in their crossing. Hundreds of fading asterisks riddle his skin. Their concentration is highest around his heart. It still kind of looks like a map of the stars in the night sky, but something's not right.
Who are you?
Gone.
What's the meaning of this tattoo?
For you to discover. You've gotten as far as you will without assistance. Someone who knows about history could tell you.
Oh, we'll put the photo away. So we need to find a history buff. Alright, let's open this up.
This trash container is locked. The sliding lid has a padlock that says, whirling in rags. With a well-oiled crack, the lock pops open. It should now be possible to simply raise the lid. Don't. Maybe you shouldn't.
Didn't I just have a premonition there's something in there?
There is, but you won't like it. Sweat forms on your brow. Your hand is still on the lid.
What are we not going to like?
The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste.
We're just in time. This hasn't been emptied for over a week.
Okay, let's look under the boxes of carton.
You see milk and egg rest with one broken egg in it. Some pasta wrapper. Picking up the soggy packages somehow feels familiar.
We're clearly a hobo cop.
You've done this before. The movements are recorded in your elbows, the methodology in your fingers. You're used to this.
You thought dumpster diving?
No, searching for evidence in the trash.
Good to know.
A box falls into pieces in your hands. Batiste Soleil cereal. There are plastic pasta packages below, and turbo noodles. Nothing of note, however.
Pick of the rags.
Among the threadbare kitchen towels, something catches your eye. A pair of denim trousers.
Score.
As the legs of the slime-covered jeans begin to unspool from the garbage, a rank corpse smell fills the air.
The victim's clothes? Cadaverine odor is faint. If these belong to the deceased, they were removed when he was still in the early stages of decay. Drop them in here, officer.
Ah.
Guitar-marked blue jeans. Pockets empty or emptied. He wore them with a belt, too. A white belt. The loops appear stretched, but the belt is missing. That's it. Do you see anything else in there? I have another bag here.
Something slimy catches your eye.
We want it.
A drab, long-sleeved shirt, olive-colored, appears from the food waste, dripping with pus.
This is a military-type overgarment. No label or serial number. This is the kind of rib-knit shirt that's worn over light armor to conceal it in an urban scenario. Anything more?
The rest of the rags are just kitchen variety waste. A yellow old mug that catches your eye. But other than that...
For an towel, a mug, that's all.
All right. We should go to Gart again and ask if he knows who put the clothes in the trash. It could be as simple as someone from the hostel cleaning the yard. Or that one. I'd advise against confronting that force.
Think someone from the whirling might have been involved?
Not really. All we know is the victim's clothes are in the trash. The lid was locked and his establishment had the key. It's just a small loose thread.
The lieutenant nods, then looks back into the trash container.
Okay, search the food
It's
waste.
just organic waste, cold and slimy on your hands. Apple and potato peels, mostly. Unidentified sludge, and the occasional chicken bone thrown in for good measure. But hey, nothing. It's nothing. Nothing more to see here.
Nothing you say?
What's this?
What?
A blue piece of plastic sticks out from the apple peels. It's shiny. Looks like the corner of something.
We will pick it out.
Something larger. A clipboard. A blue plastic clipboard with moist papers hanging from it. They look badly damaged, but you can still make out forms and notes, written in a man's handwriting.
Officer, Is that your paperwork?
I don't know what this is.
It is. Look, the plastic has the RCM street grid on it. You've even got an autopsy form in there. If you don't mind me asking, how did this get in the trash?
I think I didn't want to be a cop anymore, so I threw it away. That's probably accurate. I don't know if we want to necessarily admit that. It was probably cramping our style. Let's throw this back out. Okay, one vote there. Okay, we didn't want to be a cop anymore.
Well,
His eyes express a rare condolence. Then he picks it up.
lucky we found it. You should take stock of what remains, just to be sure some has not made it into the hands of the RCM's adversaries. Organized crime and the like. There might have been police secrets in your notes.
Okay, I'll do that.
It would also not hurt to start taking notes on the case. Now, tell me what your eagle eyes see. Or are we finished?
Well, I could steal the mug. In fact, we're going to take the mug.
You pick out a broken mug with an oddly racist depiction of the yellow man frolicking in saffron,
An antique.
only in its social sensibility. The container
we got a
sounds a
mug.
muffled gong.
That's one thing off the list. I think we got it all.
Okay. So, let's have a quick check on what we've got here. Don't have anything that's going to improve our Inland Empire beyond what we got with that. It was definitely an Inland Empire check, wasn't it?
The man before you is naked, but for a pair of underpants and white boots.
Alright,
His
let's
skin
level that
is
up.
marbled with decaying veins and blotched by lividity.
Make sure that's been applied. It has been.
The man
So with
before you
5,
is
let's go
naked,
for a second
but
check
for
on
a pair
this.
of underpants and white boots. His skin is marked. The fish lips stay silent in response. You must be losing your mind, asking him that over and over.
I told you, he is male, 40 to 50, with an athletic build.
Darn it, I wanted more information. But apparently we can't do the intuitive stuff at the moment. So let's just get him down.
So am I.
Okay, steel belt presents a unique challenge.
The cadaver is a good 1.2 meters up. Neither one of us can reach the belt without assistance. And even if we do, there's the question of cutting the airship strength material.
We could saw the branch.
Climb up there and saw the branch?
Yeah, seems like
There
this.
has to be a less risky way, with less falling down of trees.
Can't someone else do it?
Someone else? You mean like the police?
You have a point there.
Sadly, yes. The whole RCM is out there right now, doing the exact same thing we are. Are we in a rush to help them? Not with this on our hands. I know it's hard, but I assure you, the others won't come to help us. And we have a growing sanitary concern here. We need to get him down, fast.
Maybe we can ask for help from the
I
harbour.
was really hoping we wouldn't. The Union appeared to be suspect in this case. It seems like a dangerous route to go down.
We could try a thing, but I haven't really spec'd out for this, so we'll see.
But what other options? The corpse twists on the belt, like chicken on a skewer.
Maybe we could shoot him down?
Yeah! Bang bang time, pig! Shoot his head off!
How?
Oh, we don't have a good option here. Oh, we don't have the buckle.
Yes, the buckle.
Oh, that is the
where it
buckle.
ties the cargo belt to the tree. If the shot hits that, then there might be a small chance to release the belt.
Yeah, now we're talking. Entertain a Kuno with some shit.
They'll miss! The pigs will miss Kuno!
Wait, let me try.
The lieutenant's brow is furrowed. He appears too deep in concentration to even notice what you said.
Well, let him choose.
Silence. With his elbow sharp, the lieutenant unzips his jacket and produces a lightweight firearm. He drops a paper cartridge in the barrel, separates the scouring stick, and gives the cartridge 5 tucks, securing it in place. That's a Kiel A9090 Armistice, mass-produced muzzle loader, ascetic, frugal, one of the most common firearms in the world. He then steps back and assumes the fellow's desk position, taking aim. The corner of his eye twitches. His finger is on the trigger.
Easy does it.
Gonna fucking miss!
The kid's voice is drowned in a shrill blast that echoes off the walls of the surrounding tenements. A cloud of smoke slowly parts in the air as the lieutenant steps back and says to himself,
God damn it.
a lot of things were wrong with that shot. The fellow's test was the wrong choice. His shoulders were raised, but above all, he cannot trust his eyesight. He feels bad about it. About his eyes mostly. Just having bad eyesight. Probably from a young age. Whatever you do, do not console him.
Fucking idiot! Look about asshole!
Kuno could have hit it easy, but then Kuno's not fucking handicapped, is he?
I have to say, it's beginning to look unlikely we can get him down without assistance.
You know, you don't feel like too bad of a shot yourself.
How about we try? I could try to shoot him down myself. But I'm not going to risk that shot because it feels like a really bad idea for us to take it. Well, actually, what are our stats in this? We have a 4 in hand-eye coordination and nothing giving us a current bonus. So we have to ask for help from Harbour.
They do have the tools and the men. And since it looks like they put him there...
They can get him down too.
Okay. Let's do it in the lousy, dangerous way.
How do we get inside the
From the
harbour?
gates, by negotiating or fighting. I'm unenthusiastic about fighting. Or we can try to find some secret third path.
Which we
It's
did.
unlikely though.
No, it's not unlikely. Let's get to it then. So we do need to get the body down. But thankfully we found this place. So we can sneak past here. Again, we could try to shoot down ourselves, but honestly that feels very dangerous. In the meantime...
Be still, my beating heart. It's amphetamine.
Sweet amphetamine.
The lieutenant isn't studying the powder in the mirror. He's studying you.
Someone's taking narcotics here. Perhaps the police should interfere?
Perhaps not. This is below our pay grade, detective. However, see that ladder there? It's probably another way into the industrial harbor, no? A secret path the local kids use.
Empty tube of magnesium, a cured pig's head, which has been mummified. Nice. Also, stuff. Alright, we're up to 1 real. We're 130th of the way to paying our debt. And also, there are things up here. Let's head over here first. Restoration pillars keep the ruins together. Doorway that's about to collapse. Sounds perfect. We want to be here. Have a postcard, and we've nearly doubled our money. And more morale healing items, which is always nice. Ah, so much money now. We're up to 4. And... here.
Looks like someone left his tarpaulin cloak hanging on the railing here. When the wind ruffles the cloak, you can most definitely see a white rectangle on its back.
You son of a gun, it's a cop's cloak.
Yes, it's probably yours.
Yes.
It bears the RCM insignia, and you have a habit of being careless with your equipment.
Yeah.
You could probably make the jump. You look like you've done some track and field in your day.
Look around.
The wind is aggressive up here. The lieutenant looks at the enormous crane towering in the distance over the container yard. The look in his eyes is a mix of the engineer-like interest and the wonder of a 6-year-old seeing a horse for the first time. That machine is a Kvalsund 1020 HK.
Is it? Kvalsund makes a lot of heavy equipment, but this is phenomenal, even for them. But I digress. We were focusing on your cloak here.
No, we weren't. We were focusing on the equipment. Should I go for it? Jump?
The cloak? I do think it's yours, yes. As to whether you should go for it? Well, it doesn't seem too dangerous. 2 meter stops. Whenever you're ready to do it, I'll be right behind you.
The cloak looks like a bag of goodies floating in the wind.
What are we
I
doing
was
up
under
here?
the assumption we could ask the leader of this union to help us get this body down. This is why we're here. Or it could be that we are just exploring.
We are just exploring. It's
I
fine.
was thinking you've forgotten where you are again.
No, I haven't forgotten. But I do need to try and adjust stuff at this point. Alright, so we currently have -2. But let's take hands off and let's take what's also covering this. Alright. So with those two we're no longer suffering a -2 penalty.
A tarpaulin cloak with possible
42, even
RCM
shot.
markings is still caught
Got it.
on the railing. As you leap in the air, a chilly breeze engulfs you, sharpening your senses.
Close your eyes, let your senses take in the world around us.
Ankles tingling from the tension, blood roaring in your ears. You are ready for your rendezvous with the concrete pavement below.
Hooray!
As the concrete floor welcomes you, you realize it's been a while since you felt so alive.
I'm
Alert,
alive!
capable. Must be the adrenaline.
I knew you could do it. My climbing down might not have been as disco as your jump, but at least we can explore the harbor now.
Coward!
With your feet firmly planted on the concrete, the noise of the harbor rushes back in.
Well, let's grab this cloak. And also resort our equipment back out, in truth. So, put that back on. So this gives us Spirit Decor and Shivers, which is strictly better than the jacket we're currently wearing. So, there we go. Oh, I realised we should have done a thing actually before we did this, but hey, we can potentially come back.
All those empty wine bottles and cigarette butts on the ground. Someone partied really, really hard here.
Did I do this?
Well, yes, I think we can say with relative confidence that it was you.
That must have been miserable.
Yes, this scene isn't exactly ripping with joy. Let's just move on.
What is in here?
This is the night watchman's booth. The name on the door reads, René Arnaud. Listen, it's okay to take a few minutes to yourself. Sit down and have a breather.
Can I have a quick look inside?
If you must. But please hurry, we are pretty easy to spot up here.
Nothing incriminating catches your eye. The cabinets are clean and their sparse contents meticulously organized. There's a framed photograph on the table. It's a black and white photo of a young couple out in a street fair. The man is young, dark-skinned, and dressed in a Royal Carabinieri uniform. The girl is smiling playfully at the camera.
Why did you take that?
So this man piques my interest. I think it might be a side thing.
Fine. But let's move. I don't want...
The chair is not as austere as the rest of the booth.
So...
A thin grey pillow is attached to the seat, secured to the stiles by black ribbons.
Breathe deep.
Stale air floods through your nostrils. Not a single mote of dust floats inside your lungs, though. The inside of the booth is immaculate. You stand and exit the booth.
Yeah, I can't remember what... I think it might just be for drugs, in truth. We just can find some early drugs there. Also, around you, grape machines. And... nothing too relevant. I've left so much money on the table. There's a bag. You basically sell the bottles for money.
Knobs. 2 buttons marked Marsh and Arret are faded with use. It seems to control the large crane above. A container is attached to its hook block.
Can we work?
Marsh on. Arret off.
Let's press the button.
With a loud grind, the crane shifts overhead, moving a massive metal container through the air.
Have we caused a problem? Maybe? Can't remember pushing this button before, so...
And with a surprisingly quiet thunk, the crane places the container down. The harbor sleeps as the strike rages in the distance. The crane can rest again, now that its purpose has been fulfilled. The rusty control panel grows warm to the touch, then grows cold.
It's
It
finished.
is finished.
We have
A
done
faint smell
work.
of burning rubber reaches your nostrils. A short circuit.
I can't see how that was worth the wreckers, except for seeing the crane in action, which I admit was satisfying.
Absolutely, it was worth seeing. Also, let's go and have a quick check and see if we can even do anything with this.
Before you stands a cargo container, just one of many in the yard.
Lieutenant, there's something special about this container.
You do? Because I don't.
Why not?
There are a million containers here. Why are you fixating on this one?
Inspect the container. Maybe there's contraband.
There
in
may very well be, but we are not here to look for that.
Oh,
We are not here to interact with containers. We are here to get the body down from the tree.
No reply. The knock produces you attempt to turn the handle. To your left, the lieutenant considers your actions with some puzzlement.
okay. We can try a rhetoric check to convince the door to open. Weirdly, I like this.
Why are you even trying to open a door with rhetoric?
Yeah, why am I?
Why are you what?
Never mind.
Are you satisfied, detective?
We're coming back to this. We're definitely going to put some more points into rhetoric and we're going to try and open this door. At least to convince it. Actually, I thought of one thing we could do while we're here before we go to Everett, because... spoilers, we're going to go and see Everett, but... but there's some useful information we can get in here, assuming we can open this. Yeah, there we go. Also, we can get some more drugs. Well, healing items. We can get ourselves a random book, which we can use to kill time if we need to. Demand democracy. And this can be somewhat important. Well, it might maybe important.
On second glance, someone has forgotten to properly close one of the drawers.
It's unfortunate for the Union to just leave their paperwork lying around. like this.
Unfortunate indeed.
Let's see what's inside, Heath. The drawer opens smoothly. Inside is a well-organized selection of brown folders. Hundreds of documents containing logistical data. 2 kinds of transactions stand out. Materials coming into Revachol from the outside world, from Muindi, Grad, and even Ilmara. And the same materials being handed over to companies inside Revachol. Kuron, Coal City, La Delta, and Jamrock are listed among the many districts where the imports are being sold.
Anything interesting about them?
It's hard to make sense of this thicket of company names, dates, quantities, and percentages. You try to focus, but the lines are getting blurry.
We are going to volition this one. We're going to force our way through it.
Whatever's
Got
hidden
it.
here is hidden well. Concentration isn't enough. Only a trained accountant with a background in logistics would be able to really make sense of it. However, there is a little handwritten note stuck on the side of the drawer. It appears to be a to-do list written in large, uneven capital letters. Remember, Leo, Everard's shoes, special whirling borscht, water Everard's plants, sweep office floor,
More banners. Interesting.
All items on the list have been crossed out, and the note itself is crumpled.
Do you note with errands for Everard?
Everard Clare, probably. The head of the Debarders Union. One of his aides must have left it. Nothing incriminating here.
Remember, Leo, Everard's shoes.
Yeah.
All items on the list. The drawer slides.
Okay. Zarkubgin Hot seems almost sentient. We do approve of sentient liquids. Meanwhile, let's go and grab some more potential healing items. Because we're about to suffer some penalties. Also, we've got some shades. Which increase visual calculus at the cost of drama. Not the worst. There's one other thing we can do while we are here, which is use the phone.
An imposing combination of a punch clock and a payphone is looking down at you from the wall. The machine swallows your coin and seems to be waiting for your next move.
Let's use muscle memory and see what we can dial.
It's unclear whether you actually have muscle memory. Right now, your finger is just drawing vaguely occult patterns in the air.
Useful patterns?
Undoubtedly, no.
I might try this again later.
Sure, why not? Muscle memory is a tricky thing.
Okay, so we didn't get any random muscle memory information. You can, but it's a bit... I can't remember. I think there's 2 people you can call with that, which is amusing. We also should probably look through our book at some point. In the meantime, get to running. We'll also get to stuff. Okay, 4 real. Here we will see... Oh, I thought we got information about that, in truth. But apparently not. This I don't think we can open because I didn't get the tools out. Another thing I've done slightly wrong. But we will be back at this point at some stage. And in the meantime, we can just steal all of the random money. And have a chat with you.
Container, container, I'll turn you nice and red. Container, container, put the logos on.
The lyrics to this container song are being made up as he goes along.
The best songs are basically that.
The accent is so thick, it's impossible not to notice he's Ubi, from the vanishing peninsula of Ubisunt on Muindi.
Container, container, used to be Wild Pines. Container, container, now belongs to Everard.
Do not interrupt the little man in his joyous activity. No, it's fine, but it's useful info that a little bit of useful background info, if nothing else. Slightly stolen containers, you say? Right, let's go and talk to Everard. And see if we can get the body down from a tree. Taxidermy fish that tells time.
Before you is a walrus of a man seated behind a large desk. He looks up from his work, not the least bit surprised to see you. With great effort, he straightens himself up in his chair, yet says nothing. He simply stares at you, with a mixture of expectation and impatience, well bottled.
Let's get straight to business. There's a dead body in a tree.
Welcome, Mr. Dubois, Mr. Kitsuragi. It's good of you two to stop by. Please, have a seat. I'm Everard Clare, head of the Debarders Union here in Martinez. I'd offer you my hand, but unfortunately my health prevents me from getting up. You understand?
We absolutely understand.
He looks extremely comfortable. The tiny folding chair, on the other hand, looks like a torture device.
You go ahead, detective.
Whatever he has in store for you, it can't be good, he thinks. I'll do my best. Forget about that. What's with this Dubois stuff? You're getting some seriously bad vibes from that name.
I'd rather stand.
Please, Mr. Dubois, let us converse in a civilized manner, as equals. Take a seat. I insist.
I don't sit. It's kind of my thing.
Very well, Mr. Dubois. I respect a man with strong convictions. I, too, have convictions. One of which is that I will not engage with any man who won't face me at eye level. Should you find yourself more amenable in the future, I'd gladly resume our conversation. But until then, I'm afraid I must ask you to leave.
Okay, I was trying to avoid it.
Volition, buddy. He's got you in a fork. Sit down or leave.
Darn it. If we had more volition, we could have got away with that, but alright, fine. We'll take a seat.
Excellent, Mr. Dubois. I can see that you're a reasonable man, and reasonable men can be of great use to one another.
We will remain serious.
So tell me, how can the head of the Debarders Union help a representative of the Revachol Citizens Militia today?
The chair you're sitting on has got to be the most uncomfortable chair in the world. It's violating your backside.
Yeah, it is possible to actually have a heart attack and die if you've got not enough health and healing items at this stage of the game. But
by the way, I heard you got a rather rude reception from a certain Lawrence Gart. Some people have no manners, it pains me to say. This should take care of that nonsense.
Okay, so a giant novelty
check. It should be
check.
sufficient to cover your expenses for a few days and patch over your differences with a cafeteria manager. Go ahead, take it.
Wow, that's 25 real. That's good money. You need it.
We're going to take the comically large check, but we're not going to say anything.
Is there anything you'd like to say to me? Or...
No.
No, it's cool. You've got integrity.
Cool? I wouldn't go that far. I'm sure there are cooler things than delivering a comically oversized novelty check to a cafeteria manager.
I don't know. That seems quite cool to me.
Sure, if that's what's cool nowadays.
I think it is.
Now, I'd like to set your mind at ease about one other matter. Your lost gun. Let me assure you, Union people are on it as we speak. I've got my best hounds looking for that lost gun.
His slug-like lips move, but all you hear is an echo. Lost gun, lost gun, lost gun. The world is swallowed by a black hole of fear. Only two words escape its gravitational pull.
Lost gun.
Gun. Oh God. Why didn't you think of this before? Cops have guns. Where's yours?
Pat in your pockets. I don't think we got it in our pockets. Noticed by this point. This doesn't worry me at all. Who cares if I lost my gun and the love of my life?
Fuck love. This is your gun. This is serious.
Are you all right, Harry? You seem anxious. Don't be. Everything's going to be all right.
I don't think it's going to be all right.
It's not like you left it loaded. You didn't lose a loaded gun. Local children aren't out there playing with it right now, pointing it into their own mouths. It's in a safe place. I just know it. I have a feeling everything's going to be all right.
We shall see about that.
It was loaded. There were 2 bullets in it. You always keep at least 2 barrels loaded.
Okay, so we have a bunch of penalties on this composure check here. We didn't say thanks for it, but we took the novelty check. The gun was a surprise. We hadn't worked out we didn't have it previously. And also the chair is absolutely killing us. So we're probably going to fail this composure check.
God, you're sweating. Your knee is jerking. You're about to cry, aren't you? You're about to cry because you lost your gun and those children are going to shoot themselves with it.
We are not very well composed. Which is probably fair given everything. No, I'm not about to cry. Stay cool.
Dubois, You don't look so good.
I don't imagine I do. Morale is now critical, so
What is
we
this,
have to use...
Mr. Dubois? He keeps repeating. What is he trying to pull here? You need to cool the fuck down. Chill.
Mr. Dubois! Mr. Dubois! Harry!
There are no Harrys. Let your mind go to a safe
Mr.
place.
Dubois, are you okay? Can I get you a glass of water or something? Are you having some kind of medical emergency?
No, I'm just having a mental breakdown. It's fine.
Maybe you could use your hands somehow. In a kind of throw-in motion. Like you're throwing that Mr. Dubois act right back at him. He's Mr. Dubois.
No, I guess Mr. Dubois. Oh yeah, man, I'm great.
Don't be dramatic. I can see your condition isn't terminal.
You're not the one sitting in the chair.
What an odd demonstration of... you got me, Harry. I don't even know what. As entertaining as it was, I'm afraid we're wasting our time. And I'm an extremely busy man, as I'm sure you are too.
Okay, enough. We are here to ask you some questions pertaining to a murder investigation.
Quick, here's your window. Get yourself together and ask him questions. Police officer questions.
Okay. Could you help me get a dead body down from a tree?
You might have noticed there's one hanging on a tree behind the hostel cafeteria.
Oh my. Don't take this question personally, but why would I get involved in this matter?
Mr. Clare, the man was hanged with a cargo belt. A steel-reinforced cargo belt. It's safe to assume the Union had something to do with the murder. Besides, getting the body down would benefit all of us. It's a stain on the neighborhood.
And also, I studied the footprints of the crime scene, worker boots.
I can certainly see how having him up there might start affecting some real estate values. But of course, all joking aside, I am going to help you. Jean-Luc, my boy, I'm sending 2 police officers down. They have a dead body in a tree problem they need help with. Namely, they need it to be taken down. And Jean, please take it easy with the race science. That's a yes to getting the body down, no to the race science. You can find Jean-Luc down at the gates. He's the big impressive one. You know, tattoos, muscles, ethnic looking. Can't miss him. Great guy.
Okay, I want to talk about the hanging.
Oh, of course. That's your main thing here. That's why you're in Martinez. I know everything that goes on around here, and I would love to help you, like I'm helping you with the body. I mean, it's no secret that the lynching is connected to the strike. So much to talk about. Honestly, it's been weighing on me so heavily. I understand you need to interview me. But there's a thing that's been keeping me up at night. I want to talk about the hanging. I mean, if we could just calmly talk, exchange information, we could blow this thing wide open.
Yes, that sounds good. Let's do that.
But I can't think straight with this thing weighing on me. You're police officers, aren't you? I have a crazy idea. You guys are basically door-opening machines. Incredibly talented at opening doors.
I've opened a few doors in my life.
And I'm sure you're going to open this one with flying colours, Harry. This really is very simple, and there's nothing shady about it.
The stars aligned into a cosmic frown here. He has your fate decided. Bide your time, however, and let the stars continue their course, and that frown shall turn into a smile. Only if you play along.
Why don't you open it yourself?
Harry, I'm a very busy man, and more importantly, I don't have that extraordinary physique you do.
Yes,
you look like you could run around all day.
You want to send someone a message that the police are working for you.
I repeat, I'm a very, very busy man, Mr. Kitsuragi, and therefore I must occasionally enlist outside help. So what will it be, Harry?
Whose door is it?
Oh, no one's. It's just a weasel. A weasel lives there. Nothing for you to worry about.
What do you mean by a weasel?
A loud blabbering weasel. When weasels feel no one is watching, they start acting foolishly. Just go there, unlock the door, and leave it open. It's been such a burden on me, Harry. I just want this to be over so I can discuss business with you.
Alright, we'll look into it. We need to talk about that murder.
Fantastic, my friend. Just let me know when it's done and we can take our friendship to the next level. You can get the key from Manana. He's down by the gates. Manana's like a free agent in the Union. Special operations. Hardened socialist. A real free thinker, too. He'll tell you precisely where the door is. One last thing, Harry. Just open the door. You don't need to go in or anything. I just want that weasel to come home and see the unlocked door.
What's that container outside your office?
My dear Harry, there are literally millions of containers in this harbour. I couldn't possibly remember what's in all of them.
Never mind,
I rarely do, Harry. I have people for that. Now, you were saying?
Gotta leave.
Wait.
We may talk again later.
You need this to get in and out through the gate.
Great. Wouldn't want to get stuck in here.
Here, you're one of us now. A real red and white Union man.
Darn it.
Take care, Harry.
We don't want to be a Union man, but hey. Oop. Encountered another bug report randomly, so hopefully we don't have to do that entire thing again. But we'll worry about the rest of that later, I think. Alright, let's get out of here and let's see if we can get the body down from a tree and actually work out what the heck happened to it. We should also get our tools and report our badge and things as well when we can. Might save us a little bit of time. Not that time's massively important, really. Right, so this is Measurehead.
Your body betrays your degeneracy.
Yeah, Measurehead. His body totally betrays his degeneracy.
My body is unimportant. I'm with the police and I have police business with you.
That is precisely the negligence that has led you to succumb to Al Ghul. You reek of it. An invisible sword of Al Ghul emerges from your throat. You cannot see it, but others can. It is making the woman in my company sick.
You're right, I'm an alcoholic. Now I need you to cooperate with me.
No, you don't. You need to get another drink. Occidental Haplogroup B4 is done giving orders around here. The influence of the ham sandwich race is waning.
Otherwise, I need you to comply now.
Jerking motions. Signs of a late-stage neurodegenerative disorder. How far the Occidental Haplogroup has fallen. You were once a noble and powerful race. You gave the world eugenics, electricity, and powerful weapons of war like missiles and aerostatic aircraft. You made great gains in metallurgy, race theory, and statecraft. You dominated lesser cultures, like the deformed Hemians and the inexplicably potato-obsessed Quakers. But now your ascent to the genetic summit has halted. You are obsessed with sadness and with frivolous pop culture.
Disco is life.
You will be superseded. Isn't that right, babe?
It is, baby, yeah. You know it.
You're right about all this. Now I just need you to cooperate with me as a police officer.
Enough with this begging. You should leave the stage of history with dignity by inviting the other races to a great world war. Bring your troops to the Simonine Islands and to Boogie Street, and we will pulverize you. When you are gone, we will build a museum for you. The walls will be lined with bottles of Al Ghul, your beloved beverage. Inside, we will store the odes to homosexuality you call art, and your microcephalic skulls.
Everett told you to help me get the body down from a tree.
So it was. You surmounted the harbor wall in a display of athletic prowess to reach my superior, then had him give me an order. I salute your cunning, and I will remove the body from the tree with my bare hands.
Okay, but do we have time for you to go and get the bear?
You're so noble, Measurehead.
But while I am gone, someone must stand guard on the bridge. That someone needs to be you. Both of you.
Lieutenant, what if we don't want to do that?
This is the uncomfortable result of not taking it on ourselves. I can live with a compromise.
Listen to your little friend. He is wise in his childlike way. His mysterious race may yet prove fierce competition to my heroic haplogroup.
Okay,
Babe,
then.
See that they stay here the whole time.
Well, while he goes does that, I guess we can push the button and possibly grab whatever's in the box. 'Cause I think there is a box behind there, which I can't remember if that opened.
The woman's gaze follows Measurehead as he leaves.
So, you guys are like cops or something?
Apparently so.
Cool. I like men with guns and power.
Ah, lost
I'm proud of
gun.
you, by the
Lost
way.
gun.
You hear that? That sound. He's breaking something.
Yeah, Jean-Luc must be really tearing it up over there. I wish I could see it.
I don't. I've seen enough of that dead body already.
Look at you! RCM rent-a-cops! Guarding that bridge like Everett's lapdogs! Is this where it's at now? The RCM is for sale!
And who are you? What is your business here? Why are your clothes 4 sizes too small for you?
All of these seem very aggressive answers to this, so... I corrupt every opportunity I get. I'll work with whoever I want. We'll go with that.
A shrill laughter interrupts you, echoing across Martinez. Then, the man turns to look behind him at the behemoth appearing around the corner, approaching him, walking past him.
The body is down.
The corpse has been removed from the tree. Stand down and congratulate yourself. You have sided with Ray's victory today. Farewell, ham sandwich. You are a Union man from now on.
We will leave. We're also not going to show the cup to random people, though that is quite fun to do, given it's a racist mug that everybody seems interested in. Okay. Let's talk to you.
Scab?
I'm not a scab, I'm a cop.
I was just messing with you. No one's ever seen a cop scab. Imagine, you cops going on a strike, but then another cop comes in and says, let us cop for less money. Speaking of, what brings the RCM here? To the Wild North? Come to see the strife?
I'm a bit short of money right now. Can you give me some of it?
Sure thing, my friend. I can help you out.
Oh.
The coin lands into your
There we go.
hand as if it has always belonged there. The swallow returns.
Appreciate it.
Always glad to help out the RCM. Shame I can't do more. Things are meager at the moment due to... You know, the winter's fat is slowly running out and all. Still better than scabbing, though.
Unionist problems getting by?
Nothing to worry about, really. The jam's a bit of a mess, cargo can't get in or out. The rationing is a bit stricter is all. Supplies should last the strike, though.
Every little bit helps.
I'm always glad to help out when possible. Not like these slithering scabs.
Everard said you had a key to a door.
A key, huh? What door is this key supposed to open?
I was hoping you could tell me.
Of course. I got you. You don't know anything. I got that key right here. And let me tell you, it's mighty good of you to help us out during the strike. Working class solidarity, as they say. Oh, so the none of the above type, are you?
Yes, we'll go for the none of the above.
I get it. I like to keep my distance too. But it doesn't matter. It's a good thing you're doing. Thanks. What you're looking for is a basement door behind the greenhouse. That's behind the whirling in rags. That's all I know. Our organization is what you call compartmentalized. Means we keep out of each other's business.
Okay, but where did you get the key from?
The janitor gave it to me. Nice fella. We talked about life and things that really, truly matter. None of this mess we're in, this jiving and juggling. What's it for? To feed our children, I guess.
Interested to know about this task? This weasel person when he'll be home?
I'm more of a philosophical dock worker. I like to talk about the big picture stuff. Who I am, who you are, what we are fighting for.
Who he is, and what they're fighting for? This is interesting.
Why are you striking?
We're negotiating our share.
Share?
Aye.
So how large a share would you like?
All of it. However, right now we want all the harbor workers to be on the company's board, so they could take part in the decision-making process.
Osman Everett, what can you tell me about
I think
him?
it's best you make up your own mind now that you've met him. In my eyes, he is a capable organizer and a decent businessman.
Okay. What does the boss in the union entail,
I guess you kind of get to be the village chief. He oversees the harbor, makes deals with the owners or other relevant parties. Watches out for his own.
By that, you mean corruption?
By heavens, why would he not be corrupt? We live in a harsh and disordered world, see? And in this world, the old man is corrupt for our benefit, and we know it. Appreciate it even. He is, personally, not too lavish.
That does seem lavish to me.
He is reasonably lavish, sure. That's his prerogative. It's not like you want a saintly demeanor on a corrupt motherfucker. That would be a manipulative illusion. Besides, there are no non-corrupt systems in the world anyway. And moralism is the most corrupt of them all.
Got the picture.
Sure thing.
Any idea who killed the hangman?
The mercenary, eh? Who could have killed him? That's indeed the question. Why even do such a thing?
Hang a very specific type of cargo about one-off news and transport areas, for example, harbors.
What a thought. Why would noble workers resort to such a thing? Unless they were pushed, of course.
Pushed how?
Your dead guy was an enemy combatant.
Oh, what does that mean?
He was an agent of the opposition, attempting to undermine our honorable efforts.
I don't really want to accuse him of saying did he kill him. He has given us a real, so
I ain't the murdering type, but that's just me. Large organizations like our union have all sorts of men, with all sorts of skills.
Very specific skills.
This has been of limited use. Still, thank you.
No problem. I wish that...
Alright. Well, we'll leave that alone for the moment and see if we can get to the body. We should also, while we are here, grab this money. We should also cash in that novelty check. Standing over the money. I want the money. I badly need it. There we are. A whole third of a real. We're slowly getting our way to paying our room fees back. It won't be enough, but we're getting there.
Welcome to Frit. Feel free to look around or something. Everything is out on the shelves.
What's that magazine she's reading?
What's the magazine you're reading?
You mean this? This is Pop Stars. It's got, like, famous people in it. it's not for sale.
Oh.
Looks like it also has something called Police de la Mode, featured on page 34.
Forget
This
all that.
speaks to-
What is this Fashion Police feature?
It's where they rate different outfits famous people wear. It's kind of funny. They're kind of mean. It's about who's the most stylish.
But your hat would take the price.
No. I don't like it. I hate it.
Oh.
We are not the fashion police. We're the real police.
But I could be the Fashion Police.
Okay. I'm not really supposed to be chatting to anyone, but...
That's fine. I need to exchange this giant novelty check for some cash.
Wow. I didn't know you worked for the union, sir. Anything else I can do for you?
That was easy. Worryingly so.
Yeah, that may have consequences later. Gonna leave for the moment. We do need to pick up the bag so we can start actually cashing in some random bottles as we find them, but actually we can do that on the way back, in truth. What I should do is go in, phone up, do all the phone stuff, report that, and then see about doing the autopsy. So let's get the bag so I don't forget to do that. Oh, also, we can get a morale heal
This
here.
Cosmovantorie mail collection box has been heavily vandalized with graffito. A closer inspection reveals 2 bullet holes in a faint sticker on the side reads, RCM Emergencies Desk number 8102, with a slogan, Mankind, be vigilant.
Good mail delivery box. Good delivery box.
The box seems happy. Eat shit pig, fucked by the coon, and St. G with a crown have been scribbled on it. Jenny is a whore, and best set mailbox also.
I feel you, mail collection box. I do genuinely
The mail
feel you.
collection box seems cathartic, thankful even. So do you. You shudder. Then you swallow.
We will leave. But yeah, random morale heal is a thing. Next up, we're going to go down here and we're going to pick up this bag, which we can then hover over so I can't actually pick it up. There we go. And if we go to our tools, we can then hold this and we can now pick up bottles, which we can use to sell for various money at the store that we were at a little earlier. In the meantime, though, 2 more real. And now we are properly dumpster diving. Okay, so with that done, let's go to the car and let's have a quick look at what we've actually got going on here. Still have that going. We do have a skill point we can spend, but I don't think we need to just yet. We'll save that for when we need a redo.
Before you stands a motor
Let's grab the tools.
The bodywork is covered in blue and white livery, bearing the number 57. This must be the infernal machine, that toy from oblivion. In the cabin, you are welcomed by a set of steering levers, a radio microphone on a hook, a pull-out toolbox under the seat, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge. A scent of leatherwork and heavy fuel oils washes over you.
Let's
A
grab the
metallic drawer
tools.
slides out from under the seat and clicks into place.
Take what you need, officer. It's going to be a long case. I'm not protective of my tools, like some men are.
He's clearly a little protective of his tools. But what can you do? Well, it's robust.
Alright, take the
What
flashlight.
lets you see things in the handles
Take the chain
are
cutter.
You can do good work with the
Take the
pry
pry
bar.
bar.
Feels nice and cold in your hand. Heavier than you'd think. Useful for opening all sorts of doors and lids. The pull-out toolbox slides back into its nest. Preheater gauge casts a warm glow on the steering levers and the radio on its hook. The frequency
Alright,
tableau
let's go
lights up
radioing.
and a green button labeled Prime Line. glows like a feline eye. And then you hear something. The soft purr of electrical kittens. Radio waves cast far and wide over the metropolis. A woman's voice greets you through the static.
This is Precinct 57. Hello, Lieutenant. How may I assist you?
Hello, Alice. Please assist our colleague from the 41st Precinct here. I'm putting him on.
Operating the radio is easy. Just be confident. You've probably done it 1,000 times.
Probably. Let's go and be normal about this.
This is Officer Alice Demetri, Precinct 57. How may I assist you?
Under the green prime line, a yellow saved button catches your eye. You wonder what the lieutenant's default radio station is.
We'll have a look at that later. Afternoon, sir. How are we doing? Okay. Write a set of zeros for me.
What's the number? And the make of the armor, if you know it. Got it. I'll contact the ICP database immediately. Call back tomorrow. Hopefully they'll have dug up something useful by then.
Okay, so we have something that we can call
the
up
International
tomorrow.
Collaboration Police, ICP, is an inter-Isolari law enforcement service, the crown jewel in the moral intern diadem, alongside EPIS and the coalition government.
Okay. We'll do that second, because I think that's going to be horrible.
What is the number, officer?
Can God give you Sylvie's number?
Yes, hold on. Her number is 005 1944 298.
Received. Hold on, officer.
We're going to start slapping a marching rhythm on our thighs.
Give it a minute. She might be busy at the moment. Takes a bit to get to the phone.
Doesn't matter. The disco demands music.
Officer, I have Sylvie Malaika on the line for you. Yes, hello?
Sylvie, I believe we've met before. This is me, a detective from the Whirling in Brags.
Oh, right. Hello, officer. What can I do for you?
You can hear resentment in her tone. She's not thrilled to be talking to you again.
Okay. You quit your job at the Whirling, why?
You mean, why did I leave the bar? Honestly, I'm not really comfortable discussing it with you, sir.
Why aren't you comfortable discussing it with me?
Let's just say I left because I needed to get away from someone. You know whom?
Alright, I won't push you on this. Are you ever coming back to work?
Maybe, I don't know. I just know I have to take some time off right now.
Yep, it was us. Was it you who called the police?
No, not me.
Do you know who made that call?
No, sorry. I don't. Not a lot of people have phones around here. Copper thieves take the wires. People don't have the money to have the cables put in again. They use the Union's phone, or the one on the coast.
It was someone else. We'll find them sooner or later, officer. It just might take a while.
I think it does take a while, because I think we can't even talk to them at this point, if I remember this right.
What? Of course it bothered me. But I thought the Union already knew about the court.
I meant us. You should have called the police.
No one calls the police. The Union would get angry.
They probably would.
You know, what the Union says goes. People listen to them and they take care of their own, which is like everyone here.
Why don't these other cops hang around the backyard for weeks instead of calling us?
I didn't want to get in trouble with the others.
Push her further. Show her the error of her ways. No, don't push her. It sounds as if she's about to cry.
What others?
The other people who live around here. Local people. I didn't want trouble.
And yet trouble was definitely a thing.
Her voice is resigned and weak.
What trouble?
You don't live here. You don't understand. Squealing is frowned upon here. Everything is dealt with, well, by the Union, internally. Please, I just didn't want any trouble.
I see. Don't worry about it. We'll back off.
What else can I do for you? Yeah, go on.
Do you know who put the victim's clothes in the trash?
No, I don't know. It wasn't me. I haven't been out there since. I was terrified of the stench and the corpse.
Do you know how my paperwork ended up in the trash container behind the whirling?
Well, you tried to jam it down the toilet, sir, clogging it completely. After I had unclogged the toilet and retrieved the paperwork, I threw it out in the trash, thinking you didn't need it. I am sorry about that. Anything else, Detective?
Have you seen my gun? Does not sound like a thing I want to tell a civilian at any point, so I think I have everything I need.
I do hope so. Please, don't call me again. Bye.
We do have an empathy check here, so let's see if we can manage this.
Yes, you have obviously done something to upset her at the Whirling in Rags, when she was still working there.
You're mad at me, right? Tell me, what did I do? I can't remember anything.
I'm not mad. It's just you were so drunk and so emotional all the time, and then the skua thing happened. It just made me want to quit.
The skua thing?
The stuffed bird. The great skua. You threw it against the wall while screaming, "Fuck that bird," and laughing like a maniac.
It does sound like me.
I think you said it had been giving you shit ever since you got there.
Why do I always end up screwing everything up?
It was a pretty bird. There since I started working in whirling. I really liked her. We call her Scotty.
Scotty, we need more flight.
There's genuine sadness in her voice.
Tell me that I was the one who made you want to quit.
Yes, obviously. You were the worst client I've ever seen. And I have seen so many assholes in this place. I've had sailors fighting, union guys grabbing my ass, kids stealing booze. Once a guy was glued to the karaoke machine every night for 2 months.
That is our future.
But you... well, you were worse than all of them. Honestly, you were getting borderline aggressive. Even about little things like not turning down the volume at 3 a.m. I even liked one of those songs you kept listening to on repeat. No more. I hate it now.
Which song?
We Go On by the O.O. I can't listen to it anymore. You've turned it into a parody.
Right. Was that all?
Then there was your room. Your project. An experiment to see how bad it can get in there.
Yep, it definitely is
I
bad.
tried to send the cleaner, but you wouldn't let me. Threatened to make me understand. I had no idea what you meant, and I don't want to know. And then you screamed something about how you're actually a real cool guy, and no one understands it. One of the coolest guys there is. The coolest guy in Jamrock. Something about disco, too.
Sounds intense.
And then I had to deal with your toilet. The one you clogged with police documents, causing water damage downstairs in the kitchen. I won't even mention you waving your gun around, harassing customers, threatening to sing karaoke, threatening to kill yourself.
We are a horrible human being, but threatening to sing karaoke definitely is in line with how we're going with this character at the moment.
No, you really weren't. You were simply the worst.
I don't even know what to
Stop.
say.
I knew I shouldn't have brought it up. Just try not to call me again, and let's pretend it never happened.
Right, thank you for talk.
All sorts of things. From disco, rock too. So much disco and rock.
Was I singing The Smallest Church in St. Sans?
Yes, that's the one you like to sing along to the most. The later it got, the more that one came on.
Interesting. You still have to find a copy, though, before you can blast it.
Right, thank you for talking to me. Take care.
You hear a sigh of relief on the other end of the radio. Wordless, the call breaks. Then, the already familiar voice.
Anything else I can help you with, officer?
Yeah, I need to go and report
Just a
in.
second, officer.
10-2, 10-5. This is 41st. Come in, over.
A scrawny old man sits in a dusty cubicle, smoking, with a large white rectangle sewn on his vest. In front of him is a box-shaped apparatus with an array of wires and antennas. The radio switchboard. The man uses relay code. You got this. You're a cop, and cops know relay code.
Urgent business, over.
10-4, message received. 10-5, relay message. What's your status? Over.
Just reporting in.
10-18, state your message, sir.
I need to report my badge missing.
10-9, over.
Can't find it anywhere. Basically, it's gone.
10-4, message received. This is a very serious situation. I need to 1022 the captain. Over.
Is it him? What does he want?
Says he lost his badge and needs to report it.
He what? He lost his badge?
We will say nothing to this.
Who lost his badge? Dick fucking Mullen. Who do you think?
It's Officer Dick Mullen from the bestseller Dick Mullen and the Lost Identity.
Dick Mullen is not your name. It's the name of a fictional detective who would not lose his badge.
He could lose his badge.
Defend yourself. Immediately. They're laughing at you.
Officer has lost his badge. Like in the... Go on, operator. Tell him to stop. This is serious.
He's asking you to stop. Says this is serious.
Of course it's serious. He lost his fucking badge.
Satellite Officer Vicmar concurs. Losing your badge is serious. Over.
Alright, let's move on.
10-4, I hear you, officer. I'm just going to make a note here that you are in pursuit of your misplaced badge. Over.
Fuck me. Mac, come here. You've got to hear this. Dick Mullen lost his badge.
What's going on?
Super Cop here lost his badge.
He lost his what now? His badge. He lost his goddamn fucking badge.
Could you...
10-9, come again. I didn't get that. Over.
New heights even for Captain Sober.
Captain Sober, that is definitely us.
Ask him. Ask him if he's lost his gun too.
Sergeant Orson wants to know if you lost your gun too. Over.
Oh, fuck.
Wow, we could go for drama to try and get out of this, but we're just going to say nothing.
10-1, you're breaking up. 10-9, repeat please. Over.
We're also going to say nothing.
10-9, come in, officer. Over.
We still didn't get the answer. They're going to remain silent with terror.
Come in, officer. 10-9, repeat message please. Did you misplace your firearm? Over.
Most almighty, you still haven't answered anything. That's affirmative, over.
He says he doesn't have it.
Dear God, he lost his gun. Oh my, I can't.
Causing chaos back here.
This isn't really a laughing matter.
It is not.
Mac can face a giant of Coco Nur by himself, but Disco here made him piss his pants.
Alright, they're fixed. Nope, you're not fixed. Why don't we not stay on there? There you go. Alright.
Oh, I can't. Fuck. He lost his... Ask him if he's still got his wiener.
Oh, we definitely lost that.
I'm not going to.
Ask him.
Sergeant Orson here is wondering if you are still in possession of your genitalia. Over.
Yes, I lost my wiener too. Just lay off.
He acknowledges your joke and asks you to lay off.
Lay off? Lay off? Tell him we'll lay off when he retrieves the goddamn police property that he has been entrusted with.
Satellite Officer
I heard him and I'm on it.
10-4, affirmative. Officer is in pursuit of his firearm.
Oh God,
Officer, do you need further assistance? Over.
No, we could ask for financial assistance, but we're not going to get it after all that, so we're just going to say over.
Roger that. 10-10. Over and out.
Well, that was a depressing set of phone calls. Let's keep the depression train going, I suppose. Let's start interacting with this
It's the
damaged
legend
ledger.
found in the trash. A pitiful cabbage of white and yellow papers hanging from plastic board, barely held together by a metal clip. This sad display is made complete by the faint smell of urinal cleaner.
Think you got it.
Right. What more do you need? A rubber condom stuck to the back. A graffito that says defeated. I think you catch the drift. Below the pathetics, terror. Do not look into its blue heart.
Warning us of potential terrors, are you? Let's inspect the clip.
An aluminium block runs the width of the board, biting down on the paperwork. Its crocodile teeth are the only thing keeping the papers together. A regular pencil, the tip worn down to nothing, has been attached to the clip.
Okay, run
The
things
surface
over.
is interrupted by a silvery sticker. It's rectangular, sparkling with iridescence. You don't know how you didn't notice it before. Looks like an official mark, made to be low visibility outside the right circumstances.
What is this?
What? That thing. It's a halogen watermark. We use it for adding information to RCM property.
How can I read
Any
this?
capable light with the right wavelength will do.
For example?
All RCM vehicles have headlights designed to reveal halogen watermarks. Mine too.
This means you can read the watermarks if you just turn the lights on.
Okay.
Interesting.
While a bunch of sodden papers sag from the clipboard in your hand, it's a sorry sight. They're not exactly white. They're yellowed in patches by sunlight and alcohol, and covered in dense blue handwriting. Ink escapes into watercolor patterns, reaching its tendrils across entire pages. The paper itself is checkered, with faint red lines, forming short paragraphs. Once in a while, there's a red stamp that exclaims, "Case files commit to paper." The case files themselves are plenty. You count more than 100 sodden, crumpled up, earmarked pages falling apart in your hands. They appear to be sufficiently organized and extremely dense, if mostly illegible. Work, strife, poverty, the Jamrock Quarter. These are handwritten logs of investigations dating back to January 51, this year. The exact number is hard to estimate, due to missing pages and an odd naming convention. But there are at least 20, maybe 30 cases, undertaken, not completed, mind you. It's the middle of March. You have attempted 2 cases a week on average. What do you mean? Is that all?
Is 2 cases a week caseload good? Yeah, a good caseload. Let's ask him that.
2 complex cases to undertake is a lot, yes. You really have to push yourself. I would not suggest it, lest you start making mistakes.
I'm not sure I completed them though, but that seems to be what I was doing.
That's a lot. I didn't mean to say you are making mistakes, by the way. That was presumptuous of me.
Nice brisk pace, the way I like it.
I prefer a normal caseload. It's a matter of method.
Indeed.
Like a fan of gills, the checkered papers dry in your hand. The handwriting is extremely dense, if mostly illegible.
Count the pages, do I? I'll have to open an official case, is there?
There is, for precisely 1 more. 15 pages near the end remain untouched by the damage. The checkered grid forms a structure of passages, breaking the case into subtasks to accomplish.
Commit to paper.
Sadly, the ledger only comes with an old, worn-down lead pencil. It's unfitting of this monumental event.
Indeed.
The ledger only comes with an old, worn-down lead pencil. It will do, barely. But
we will use the pencil. We're not going to use Kim's equipment.
Onto
here.
the paper
This is ours.
with a brash free hand, uncannily similar to the rest of the letters. The wording comes easily. It's almost robotically simple. A language developed for mental rigor and simplicity. Inspect the victim's body. Get the body down. Interview the cafeteria manager. It's not exactly poetry, but poetry would be out of place.
Cross what we completed.
A satisfying slash sounds across the paper. You're done, it seems to say.
And you.
And you.
And you.
You're a swashbuckler with that pen, Harry.
Hey,
and it feels good.
Game morale.
Feels like completion. Things to be done and things already done. The composition of reality. This is an extremely useful tool for a detective of the citizens' militia. Now all that remains is to name the case.
Sans, have you by any chance named our case?
No, actually. Any ideas?
Alright, Chad, what do we want to name this case? There's an obvious answer, but I don't know if we want to necessarily do the obvious answer. No, maybe we do want to do the obvious answer. Fair enough.
Great. That's great. That's actually what I was thinking too. The Hanged Man. Good, strong name. We have a very good name for the case now. I'm going to start calling it the Hanged Man. It's good we sorted this out.
Let's have a look at what our naming convention was.
Yes, it appears you employ a, shall we say, robust yet literary system. Each investigation has its case number written on the margins. Yet, still more tellingly, Most are accompanied by a name.
Name.
A title, one might say even. One that draws inspiration from Snoop fiction and Vespertine cop show staples. Yes, all caps. One is called The Next World Mural. Another, The Square Bullet Hole Murders. Another yet, The Unsolvable Case.
Calling a case the unsolvable case seems defeatist.
Others
I
appear
approve.
more light-hearted. The guys on a couch in an unexpected location, and the murder at the Ukar parlor. Even the rare article-free collapsing tenement. Murder features prominently throughout. It's going to take an effort to piece these case files together, but it can be done. Once you don't exactly close them, so much as distance yourself from the smelly papers. They're a little further from your nose now.
We'll smell the ledger.
The acidic stench of rotting food is rubbed off on the cellulose. It now forms the base of the experience. This base surrounded by a faint air of spoiled meat, the stuff of death itself, and then sprinkled liberally with the citrus zest of toilet cleaner. You know, like the bits they put into public piss bowls, probably called Fermi Discrete, or Axel, or something. At some point
I know,
journey,
we already dumped
the
it in
ledger
the
has seen
toilet.
the inside of a public toilet. If you knew it was dunked in the toilet before getting chucked into the trash, why are you sniffing it?
The option to sniff it was there, so...
Torturing your own nose for no reason is not conducive to case cracking, bud.
Are you angry with me, nose?
Yeah. Turns out your nose doesn't like self-indulgent literal shit huffing. Quelle fucking surprise. Come on, no more. The ledger is going back down, away from your nose now.
Alright, let's try with a logic check. We can always add a point if we need
Yes,
to.
you can piece them together using the alphanumeric code on the margin. It always begins with HDB 41. Then, date of initialization and time of arrival on the scene, followed by the title. For example, HDB 41120111700. The Next World Mural.
Wait, what is HDB 41?
41 is your precinct. It's safe to say those are the initials of the officer responsible for the case.
Harry Dubois?
Your initials.
Or Horace Derby Beringa?
I got nothing here either. Logic really isn't the best faculty to have this conversation with. But it's the one you got. So sorry.
Let's go back to Inland Empire.
Yeah. We're staying out of this business for now.
I was correct, actually.
HDB is bad news from yesteryear. It's shit, Honcho.
How long does it take to read a case?
It takes about half an hour to piece one together, using the system you've devised. Where do you want to start?
I think we're going to revisit
Not much
this.
has
We don't want to do
changed
too
in
much
the
for that.
meanwhile. A bunch of sodden papers still sags from the clipboard.
Let's browse the yellow
In
papers.
the back, you see thin, translucent copy of paper. Some neon yellow, some bright red, all covered in boxes, like marching armies. These look like official forms, waiting to be filled out. Then rip them from the binder and hand them out, according to type of form.
What types of form are there?
3. The topmost are misconduct fines. The middle ones are station calls. And the bottommost are field autopsy forms. Each is easy enough to make sense of. You don't have to be an intellectual giant to do police work. The rest of the stinking cellulose is much worse for wear. Being sandwiched between the board and the rest of the paperwork must have spared the fragile copier paper.
Let's look at the clipboard.
It's made of dark blue plastic, hard enough to beat someone to submission with. The edges are rounded, however. The U4 size board feels thick and heavy in your hand. Light shimmers on its wet surface. On the back, you see the embossed letters, RCM.
Let's shake the ledger.
Something rattles inside, ever so lightly. Is there a hidden compartment?
There is.
And something small inside, light, made of paper or cardboard, or dried flowers perhaps. The plastic shimmers like lapis lazuli, but it is not see-through. You cannot see to its center.
How would I open it?
With your hands. U4-sized pages hang from the clip screwed to the top of the board.
So we're currently in -1 because we're currently doing the Lonesome Long Way Home thing. However, let's try to open it.
Is not what you end up doing. You squeeze the plastic to slide it open, but nothing happens. Then you bend it some, then crack it. The goddamn thing is stuck. The ledger quivers in your hand. As it shakes, the pages rustle. This pathetic mess suddenly afraid of you for some reason.
Well, we'll put that away. We might re-interact with it a little later, but for now, let's go and deal with the dead body. Well, it is here, and looks like the branch is here as well.
The corpse lies on the ground among the remains of an absolutely demolished pinewood branch. It's gently laid on one side.
Well, it's down.
Mr. Measurehead has done a good job. Nothing is too broken or compromised. The victim is ready for a field autopsy.
Field autopsy?
Yes. 1. Investigation of the scene. 2. Initial examination of the victim. 3. Field autopsy. 4. Transportation of the body to the morgue. We are on number 3.
The RCM's 4-phase murder scene processing manual.
The fuck are they on about?
Cop's gonna cut his shit up.
Got it.
The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
We still don't have this. We've tried this twice and I don't want to put any more points into Inland Empire. We might need the points for later on in the game, so...
Come on, officer. You know what a field autopsy is. You've done 100 of them.
We probably have. Actually, that's something to do. I have to do the lights and the thing.
What you do know is, at 18.9 kilometers, the dormant shield volcano, Corpus Mundi, is the world's highest summit. And the failure of the 38 single, Epuis Descent, to crack the top 20 was the death knell of disco. But what a field autopsy is, you have no idea.
There truly is a time for everything, even for yellow gardening gloves. However, they are lacking hygienically. I suggest you get in there in limited capacity.
Okay, we'll get in there in limited capacity.
I'll ask you when I need you to. For the most part, maybe I should handle the contact and you take notes?
Yep.
That's right.
Field form? Fine. Alright.
The dead man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes and lists, describing the condition of his skin and organs in 3 parts. Above those, an 11-field info form needs filling out first. It begins with...
That's you.
Right initials HDB.
The corpse is indifferent to your scribblings, just lies there. The next box says...
KK57-0803.0815.
Alright, write it
Next.
down.
NA. NA. Roughly 50.
The corpse looks ageless, like meat on a hook.
Mondial.
Fair to olive-skinned, from the Isola of Mundi. This is as vague as it gets. You might as well say whitish.
We'll say whitish then. Write it down.
The pudgy mess of curdled meat looks neither mondial nor anything other.
Fucky!
Male.
Pigs can have sex?
We shall write pigs gonna have sex. No, we'll do this properly.
Nor does he look male, with his pregnant belly and indistinguishable face.
We're still going with March 4th. 51.
Okay, we'll go.
What else? 9. Body identified by is non-applicable.
Because we haven't?
10. Case number is the same as the coroner's case.
KK57 0503 0815 listens motionless, with the cargo belt still around his neck. Only one box remains.
Evidence of
None.
treatment.
At least not after the initial examination.
What's sure?
They'd have to have incapacitated and carried him over. This man was more than a match for untrained dockwalkers.
Your central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the Stations of the Breath. Ecclesiastic, religious in nature, a holdout from pre-DeLorean burial rites. It takes him 2 seconds to perform. Then, somewhere in Jamrock North, a small wood shed behind Rosencrantz Row, Lieutenant Nick Feuerbach puts his hand to the chest of a small corpse, no larger than a monkey. It's raining outside, light drizzle. There is darkness in the shed. Elsewhere yet, an obese female sits in a wicker chair, her silhouette ball-like against the window. Outside, Grand Coudon. The day is turning dim for Sergeant Mac Dawson. Hand extended, he approaches, to make sure she is dead more than anything else. And so, all across Jamrock, Coal City, GRIH, 42 deceased persons found today, 42 stations of breath.
We should start the post-mortem.
We shall indeed. Turn the page.
The corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. A thicket of boxes and lists on red copier paper tries to answer why.
Alright, external examination.
Clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrodine, I think. Let's see.
See, it's happening.
Babrodine, yes. Inexpensive. Size M. Color white.
The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was expecting something more lurid.
It is a correct description of thing, I think.
The boots are ceramic, vitreous enamel. They are fused to his skin from blood flowing downward post-mortem. Removal of the boots is left for processing.
Write it down.
The boot has a serial number. It's E50.100.100. The lines between the plates are in the shape of the alphanumerical. The number is purposefully concealed by the design.
We shall write that down.
The upper torso is covered in a single, continuous tattoo, resembling a map of the night sky. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The ink is blue and white. The assistant has a color photograph of the markings, to be added to the case files as document A1. The photo is taken on the scene, using a Trigat Mini. The deceased has a belt for airlifting cargo around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot. Color yellow. Length 3 meters. There is a buckle on the other end. Well-nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters. Generally consistent with age, about 50. Preservation is
I'm fairly
good.
certain he's younger than that, based on
Ambient
what I know from
temperature
my first run
below
through the
freezing.
game, but hey. This is the thing, different characters get different information because they have different skills.
Body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with age. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short.
We could touch the hair ourselves, but I don't think we need to. We can just write that down.
Lividity is consistent with hanging. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest, and thighs. Consistent with stones thrown post-mortem. Low velocity.
Fucking low velocity? You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity was fucking max.
Okay, maximum velocity
Talking
Kuno then.
shit about Kuno's velocity.
In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest. Consistent with predation.
We're going to write it down, but it meant for high velocity.
You get your mark. The steel wiring. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get to the ligature mark.
You got just the right tool for that.
Oh,
The
this
chain
could start going wrong. Alright. Good thing we got these chain cutters.
Always good to think ahead. Now, we need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below. Carefully, with as much precision as you can.
This is going to go so badly wrong.
See, my pig is gonna fuck his head off.
No, he ain't. Your pigs are boring.
I
as
have
fuck.
no physical instrument score. We'll look for a good
The
spot to
belt
cut.
is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck, swelling over the edges like white bread rising from the east. The knot is the weak spot. The chain cutters fit in there, steady now, like a flower arranger. 2 cuts and it should come loose.
Alright, let's see how badly this goes. 72 should be fine.
After some
Actually, success.
deliberation, you sink the cutters into the knot tying the belt together. You squeeze the rubber handles together, sweat forming on your brow. Snap! The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet, revealing the dead man's neck and the dark red ligature mark around it.
This might be the first time I've gotten to this part of the thing without any damage to the body whatsoever.
The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap
at least
in
I
the
didn't-
ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck.
I earlier deliberately decided not to shoot the body because I've done that too many times and it causes massive issues later on. So yeah, I decided not to, and yeah.
Hemorrhaging is observed
But
on
I
the skin,
always tend to
above
fail
and
that
below
one,
the ligature
weirdly.
mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 or 1.5 meters.
Right, writing it down.
Chest is intact, normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant, pelvis intact, genitalia.
No! Let's get out and see!
I fucking knew it!
This is clearly what they've been waiting for, ever since the autopsy began. The lieutenant is trying to make it as boring as possible.
Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury.
We are going to move on.
Back is symmetrical and intact. Upper and lower extremities are intact, but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip. In addition, I see smaller, residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin. Last item, hands.
Alright, we will continue to let the lieutenant work on it because we are still got garden gloves which aren't very hygienic because we also went into a
Hands
dumpster
are
with
clean.
them.
No sign of a recent struggle.
Were we expecting any?
I was. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Honestly, this stench is making it hard for me to think at the moment.
Honestly, I love Dungeons of Dreadmore as a thing. I keep going back to it every now and then, although I haven't since I've completed it. It's a good roguelike, in truth. There's a lot of variety with it. There are certainly some workshop mods you can add if you want to just change it up. I do think it's a good game. It is one of my favourite roguelikes I've played in recent eras. There are, of course, other options you can go to. But yeah, no, I think Dungeons of Dreadmore is definitely a worthy thing. It takes, once you get some combos together and you get how the systems work, might not be as definitely difficult as some others, but yeah, it's achievable.
Ooh. That's all for the external. Well done. What next?
Internal.
Central nervous system. I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system?
Of course, there is a moral to be drawn from it. A moral to this story.
If I may add a moral of this story.
What would that be?
The dead man looks, too, with barely contained excitement to hear the moral of his story.
The brain is very vulnerable to compromise its blood supply.
I think that may well be the moral of every story, officer.
It's certainly the moral of this one.
Good. Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. Not injury related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid bone. Let's see.
With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it, gently. A rotting smell erupts from the mouth. Purge fluid runs down his lips, black and viscous. You hear cracks as the lieutenant moves his sharp fingers inside the flesh, like the creaking of an old house at night.
Yeah, jack that fucker off!
The hyoid bone is fractured. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact. Respiratory system. Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen. Hemorrhaging present in mucosa of the lips and mouth.
Alright, let's look inside his mouth.
No scream. No sigh of relief rises from the darkness inside. It's humid there. Sickly sweet air, unlike anything living. You feel like you're about to throw up again. Straight in that mouth of his.
That would probably not be a good idea in an autopsy thing, so we're going to write that down.
Hepatobiliary. NA.
Okay, we'll write NA.
Same for toxicology and serology. NA. Cardiovascular. The body exhibits lividity in the lower extremities, feet, hands, and neck, visually consistent with the hanging. Gastrointestinal. Digested semi-solid food in stomach. Voila.
We will omit the voila to keep this professional.
What's next on the list?
Injuries.
Let's see. We have bite marks, contusions on the head and chest, and a ligature mark encircling the neck. You'll need 3 fields. Leave a 4th one too.
Be thorough if you want maximum results.
We do want maximum results as much as we can here. Bite marks.
Head, chest, and scalp bite mark injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to the body. Odontologist does not need to be consulted. And your opinion, officer?
Non-fatal post-mortem.
Agreed. Next injury? So, the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury, a stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory response. The perpetrator on the scene has confessed to causing it post-mortem.
At maximum velocity, fucko!
Has confessed to causing it at maximum velocity.
We will write that down.
Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp and chest, where the countless stones have hit the dead man. Beneath, the description of injury. 2 boxes.
Non-fatal post-mortem.
Right. Next. A
Ligature.
dark red abraded ligature mark encircling the neck, with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. The hyoid bone is fractured, the cervical column intact. I see hemorrhaging on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. Depth of the mark, 1 centimeter. No signs of clawing on the neck.
Below the note, 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. The man's head jerks to the side. The ring around his neck is visible. Think for a moment. There's time. Don't rush.
It's giving you the clues. We're going to say non-fatal.
He is deep in thought, eyes fixed on the bright red ring around the dead man's neck.
Why do you say that?
Seriously, I don't think this is the injury that killed him.
Okay. Why don't you think it was fatal?
I write it through the psychic arts. I don't... That's not going to be an answer Kim respects. I would sanitize. Big man, this I would tie his hands up for much into the guys.
Honestly, I'm not sure there weren't marks on his wrist. That part got blurry for me. The stench. But you are right, I was ready to call this. Now I think we should leave it empty, at least for the time being. Let's wrap this up. I pronounce this field autopsy over.
Hey, more skill points. Alright, first, how did it go?
It was an irregular field autopsy. We did not establish cause of death, which is supposed to be the goal of an autopsy. But, personally, I do not see this as a parameter for success.
What else?
We were thorough with the list of injuries, too. We described them all in detail. What is there to say? Given the circumstances, it was a professional field autopsy. I need a copy of that autopsy form. Then I will drive him to Faubourg for processing.
He's thinking, did I miss something? You tilt your head, also looking at the corpse.
Okay. Oh, okay, so now that we've done the autopsy, we can have a third attempt at finding out what this dead man can finally tell us. Finally succeeded. Where have you gone?
Into the wild pale yonder.
Where is that?
In the past. Way out in the west.
I can't get the time compartment in my ledger open.
The Blue Heart. Oh, that's good shit. You'll love it. Just press down and fuck it open like you always do.
Thank you, Hangman. That's useful info.
Fuck it hard. Go-po-po the clown.
He means force. It'll work.
Okay, I can see you're gone, but who are you?
I'm a joke. Look at me.
You are now, but who were you when you were alive?
A killer. A motherfucker. And a killer. Go ahead.
What the heck's happening?
What do you mean?
I'm talking to you.
It's the power of your imagination.
We have a powerful imagination.
Go ahead. Ask me more questions. You fucking love questions.
But why do I love questions so much?
Because you're a copperoonie. Look at all of them go. Do you want more questions?
Give me a comical amount of questions.
Coming right up. Copper Rooney. This is getting upbeat now.
We like upbeat corpses. Upbeat corpses are the best. Why is my name Rooney?
Fuck no. You're no Rooney.
Rooney is obviously not who I am.
Between you and me, your name is probably Harry.
I feel like I've been getting a lot of Harry lately.
You might be onto something there.
Why do I feel like I've forgotten something terrible?
Because you have.
Okay. Who killed you?
Love did me in, Revachol. It was love all along.
Interesting. Can you ask me a question?
Sure, Lobo. I can ask you a question. Why are you doing this?
What?
Looking at my face, motionless. Looking into my eyes. Standing here. Why are you investigating my murder?
Because maybe it leads to something indescribable, unforeseen, miraculous.
The clown lips on the corpse appear to smile. Something is on its way. Something hidden. It's coming. A miracle from the northwest, and it's almost here. You can feel it in the air, on your hands. The cold spring air smoothing them over.
I hate you. You stink and you're boring.
Do I remind you of someone?
A child born with Muller's disease, harlequinism, grown up miraculously.
You don't remind me of anyone.
Sure I do. You just don't want to admit it.
That is fair.
Come back later, Corpo. Amuse yourself with my frank manners and my memento mori features. If possible, also, see me in your dreams.
Okay, we're now going to attempt a legendary perception check, which we get a +1 to because we haven't established a cause yet. Let's see if this works.
Your arm reaches out and your eyes close, as if by their own volition.
A lucky roll.
It's dark all around. You feel cold, dead flesh through the latex glove. It's right under the palm of your hand.
What is this?
His face, his cheeks, his nose, his fat, swollen lips. Like a rubber spider, your gloved hand crawls on his features. Everything is silent, all around.
Put your fingers in the mouth.
The oral cavity is cold and moist. A ball-like tongue attaches itself to the base of the mouth, lolling around like a scallop. You're on the right track.
Wait a bit, this feels right.
The tongue moves freely in the cavity. The mucus of the mouth is slippery, fragile, even through the latex. From the soft meat, teeth are budding. Hard pearls of bone in the gums and in the back of the mouth. Can you feel it? You're so close. Rip his jaws open now. Look in.
Open your eyes and look.
A vision of black and dark red death, pried open by your hands and studded with teeth. Looks like he's laughing. Death fumes rising from his throat. And there, in the back of his mouth, above the bell of the uvula, right in the soft palate.
I think we're about to get a spoiler.
You see a hole, barely visible to the human eye. It is swollen shut, almost vanished. No larger than 0.4 centimeters in radius, the edges appear darkened.
We're going to touch it with a finger gently.
A black trickle of liquid runs into his throat from the wound. Your index fits right in there. A tight tunnel of flesh opens up, tissue damage, wide enough for 2 fingers. As you push both in, you reach through his mouth, right into his brainstem.
The fuck is happening?
Ah, shit, see?
Feel around first.
The basal ganglia feels clumpy. What entered here has torn apart his reptilian complex. This man will never sleep again, never wake. Your yellow fingers slide into the remains of the limbic system. There is no resistance. It's gelatinous. The slug-like structures are damaged too. The tearing extends deep into both hemispheres.
There's a cavity cut right between the
The
hemispheres.
lieutenant answers with the sound of his pen on paper.
Fucking cavity, see?
Quivering with awe.
We push deeper.
Your fingers are all the way in now, reaching toward the inside of his skull. The cavity goes further, but the entry wound isn't wide enough for the rest of your hand to follow.
We might be ruining this corpse, but...
Your fingers reach toward his skull. His cerebral cortex feels like jelly. Cold jelly. Strange fluid streams down your wrist as you push deeper, until you feel it on the tip of your finger. Ice-cold serrated metal. Its edges cut right through the latex and into your finger.
Feel a solid bit right under the skull.
Can you get to it?
There's a tiny crack. A protrusion in the cranium. Right in the back of his head. Your finger must be pointing straight at it. From the inside. The object that is in there stops just short of the skull, in the encephalus, knocking this tiny fracture into the cranium.
We have the makings of a very small exit wound here.
Forget about the fucking exit wound, Beano. The pig is wearing him like
All
a
right.
fuck puppet.
Just avoid a double one here.
Push your hand further in. Whatever is in there keeps rolling between your fingers as you beckon it to come out.
Lieutenant.
Out comes his small folding knife. The lieutenant moves its blade across the man's skull, searching for the exit wound.
Mm-hmm. Withdraw your hand 4 centimeters, please.
Ah, yeah.
With a crack, he punches the knife in the skull. Then, one more time, and one more, until the bone comes loose.
This
like
is a massive spoiler,
Inside,
as mentioned.
You feel
but
the jelly move from his poking.
it is very, very unusual to find this on the original autopsy. Normally, you find this out a couple of days later. But yeah, we found information, and I knew.
Can you push it out?
Push.
A small flower of metal blossoms from the man's
We have got
head,
it. Okay.
Followed by your yellow finger.
Beautiful.
A bullet. A non-calibre. Rifled. You may remove your hand from the victim's head now, officer. Well done. Here's your prize.
We have a fractured bullet.
We need to add an item to the injury list. Injury number 4. Oval entry wound with an abrasion color. Soft palate, back of mouth. High velocity. Temporary cavity in brain tissue. Small exit wound on the occiput. How does that sound?
We're just gonna nod.
Fatal injury.
Agreed.
And one last thing. We can now fill in injury number 3. Ligament mark. Opinion non-fatal. Post-mortem. Treatment.
He's proposing the bullet was the real cause of death, and the hanging an attempt to conceal this fact.
Yes, and the belt around his neck. The hanging. Even dragging him to the yard. All of it was done after this man was already dead.
Agreed.
I have had my doubts since you showed me the tracks. Why did they carry him over? Why not march him?
Because it's a very small...
There was no satisfying explanation.
The shot basically went into his mouth and didn't exit the skull at the back. And they hung him to kind of hide this, because why, if he was hung, would he have been killed in any other method, especially since it was right afterwards based on bruise marks and whatever else. But yeah, it's hidden behind that legendary check, and if you don't manage that, you won't find out about that bullet until day 3.
There have been other signs too. Small things. We were right not to assign hanging as cause of death, as the perpetrators expected we would. No such luck for them.
We didn't fall for it, he thinks. There's pride in there.
Maybe the bullet holds more answers.
Yes, we should take a closer look at it. I am certain it has more to tell us.
This little thing could reveal much about the weapon that shot it.
I think I need to wash myself.
Oh, you really, really do. I am glad to hear you say that. Your room in the Whirling in Rags should come with a bathroom. Be sure to make use of it in the evening.
What happens next?
We put him in a bag and carry him to the holding pen of my kinema. The body bag should contain the odor for the duration of the transport. I would drive him to processing, but it's too late to do that today. I'll do it first thing tomorrow. No problem.
The other thing, of course, is that body has been in the tree for a week, so, you know, it's not exactly fresh.
This was really good work, Detective.
Well, we can't get any more...
Shoot, Looney Roon. Come back later, Corporal.
We're not going to come back. We are finished with the corpse.
yourself with my frank manners and my memento mori features. If possible, also, see me in your dream.
I'll see you in your dreams.
All right. I will need a little help carrying him. You take the hands. I'll take the legs.
Okay. We have done it. So now it's going to be a case of doing a few bits and pieces. Also, we got another bug error. Confirm and hope that we have actually dealt with the body.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge.
Let's turn on the headlights.
Right. Ready? I turn, you press start. It's next to the preheater.
What would happen if you didn't fail? Then apparently nothing much happened from that. I just would have got the bullet out in one go without needing Kim to assist and potentially damage the corpse further. I don't know if that was actually significant or not, but we definitely failed something, so might not have been neater. I've never succeeded both checks, so
is more than happy to
that's
show
one of the
off
only
his
times I've
precious
actually managed to get through that first one, in truth, so...
The dashboard lights up with orange glow. The rounds per minute gauge jumps, and the engine of the Caprice Kinema comes to life with a whiny growl.
That's the sound that woke us up.
Like a leopard waking from its sleep, yawning and roaring at the same time. The lights unfold with a little click, casting electrical light onto the ground before the vehicle.
There you go. I'll turn them off from the remote once you're done. We just need to stand in front of the machine now.
Alright, let's close the door, leave, and go and see if we can find out more information about ourselves.
Inside,
nope.
You see a set of steering levers,
Not mean
a
to click
radio
that.
microphone.
Zoom out a bit.
As you hold your ledger's clip under the headlamp, an iridescent hologram appears. A street grid and the veins of a great river. A familiar sensation washes over you.
There she is. Revachol West.
Around the borders of the watermark are dozens, no, hundreds of micro-perforations.
Alright, look at the shimmering street grid.
The rectangular watermark is overlaid with the logo of the RCM, and yet the major arteries of Revachol are all recognizable. They shimmer in the Kinema's headlights.
Where are we on
Let
this?
me see. Right here.
Seems nice.
No, it does not.
It... Fair enough.
There are many of them, and they are divided into 3 separate rows.
Tally up the rows.
The first row has 18 dots.
Okay, 18 dots. Next one.
The next is the longest. It runs all the way around the border, and then some. There are so many, it's hard to count. More than 150, at least. Maybe even 200.
And the last row?
The last row has 3 perforations. That's it.
Okay, Kim, what do these mean?
Those are perforations. They represent your record as an officer of the RCM. They are your statistics, as it were. I should have guessed you'd keep a record. Officers often do. Let's take a look. The first row represents your years of service. 18 years. Okay, not bad at all. What did you do before you volunteered?
18 years done it. Got drunk like a megastar. We're gonna keep on this superstar theory.
Yes, that does seem quite likely. Your youth coincided with some heady days for Revachol. But let's move on, shall we? This next row, the one that wraps all the way around, is your number of closed cases. Closed is good. It means finished. You've got, let's see... Wow, more than 200.
That a lot?
It's quite a lot. even for someone who's been on the force for nearly 2 decades. Usually, clearing more than 10 cases a year puts you in the 90th percentile of all RCM officers.
Used to be good. That's some solace, I guess.
Right. Those are your confirmed kills. You've got precisely 3 perforations there.
So I'm a killer.
For an RCM officer, especially Precinct 41, which is in the Jamrock quarter, it's rather tame. I mean that in a good way. There are certain officers who treat their kills like some kind of ghoulish game. If they do happen to solve a case, it's usually by accident. But it seems as though you are, or at least were, one of the good ones. So we have that to be thankful for.
Thanks.
The lieutenant nods.
Right. I'll go turn off the lights.
So I think this now should give us... Okay, we have our stats. So we have a good cop, bad cop score of 7 currently. We have 1 moralist, 1 unilateral in terms of our random political affiliations. We have 3 superstar cop, 1 sorry cop, 2 boring cop. No apocalypse cops at the score at the moment. Right, next up, let's go back to inspecting the... Actually, we can inspect the bullet now.
The bullet is safely sealed away in a plastic bag bearing the RCM stamp. Kim has filled out the label on the bag with the item number, case number, and date and location the bullet was found. Beside his orderly handwriting, the bullet looks especially sad, like a tiny, shriveled head of cauliflower.
What do I do with you, bullet?
What?
I said, what do I do with you, bullets?
Well, if I was the bullet, which I'm not, I would say, find the weapon that shot me.
Good idea.
If we find who owns it, we will have likely found who used it, possibly to kill our victim. In conclusion, the more we know about this bullet of yours, the better.
Okay, feel the bullet through the bag.
The squashed bullet has some sharp edges where the jacket has split open. It feels cold, even through the bag. You wouldn't ordinarily have cause to handle jacketed bullets. The citizens' militia uses cast bullets only. Little pebbles of metal loaded from the muzzle, usually in a cartridge.
We shall inspect
the
closer.
The jacket of the bullet is made of a yellowish metal. It has blossomed out to reveal a dark grey core. The base of the bullet is close to 5 millimeters in diameter. You can just about make out a few striations near the base of the bullet. Little hairlines, linear. It feels standard.
And the core.
It's quite destroyed. Some of the fragments are still lodged in the wound.
What can you say about the bullet so far?
Oh, I actually know this.
A jacketed bullet. Okay. It would have been shot from a military-grade breech-loading rifle, not from a muzzleloader like those typically found on the streets of Martinez.
Highly unusual. The people of Revachol haven't carried breech-loading weapons like this for nearly half a century.
We're getting a lot of good encyclopedia checks.
Even the RCM uses ordinary unjacketed conical bullets. This is strange. Very strange. I like this, officer. Strange means unique. Unique means incriminating. We need to find the gun that shot it.
Something tells you that won't be anytime soon. This'll have to be one of those epic tasks that's open for a while.
Possibly. Let's see if we can make this.
You can't remember
Not
what
yet.
happened last week. What makes you think you're going to remember arcane firearm models?
Okay, that's fine. But we can redo this check later, and hand-eye coordination is something we might put some more points into later. In the meantime, though...
Lonesome. Long way home.
So, having completed this fort cabinet thing...
Here we go. Home awaits. Walk past Station 41 and through the market, past the Boogie Street spearhead to the other side of the lake, the frozen eye at the center of the district. Then, past the video rental store on the corner. There, at the end of a street lined with pine trees, a small house no larger than a matchbox. 11 Voyager Road. You no longer live there. Those times are gone. And so are those people. Why did you come here? Why are you still here? And where's the dealer? You have to get back to work. That's all you have now.
Okay, so that has given us a potential stat increase to perception that we can now put 5 additional points in it, going up to a total of 9. But, yeah, reasonably useful, I suppose. The only other thing I think we want to do now is because we've had that chat with the dead man, we might now be able to actually
It's the
interact with this
ledger
ledger.
you found in the trash. A cabbage of papers hanging from the board, with the permeables drawer inside. It's barely held together by a clip, then made complete by the faint smell of urinal cleaner.
Let's try and open this up.
Just relax. The two sides of the board are slightly misaligned, like a drawer that's come off the slides. All you need to do is bend the plastic on your knee, slowly. The slides snap back into place. It should be possible to just,
Let's slide it open. I'm
without
sure nothing bad is going to
or
happen.
sound. The two panels move against each other. The compartment is now open.
This is not going to be bad in any way, shape, or form.
2 ticket stubs and a handmade postcard. Two octopuses are smiling, reaching their tentacles toward each other in the colored pencil drawings. The tickets permit access to the zoo in Revachol East. The aquarium costs extra. These let you go there too. Thin wax paper has been glued to a piece of cardboard. Sounds like leaves rustling when you pick it up. You see violet flowers, floral patterns, patches of glue.
Nose, let's have a disagreement.
It smells of chewing gum, apricot flavored. A touch of cinnamon, the end of summer. You think the label says tutti frutti.
Open.
Familiar handwriting lines the inside of the card. Looped, round letters in a woman's hand. A young woman in her 20s. There is care, effort, and a smile, you think. Although that is not something you can read from someone's handwriting. Harry, it begins. You're already reading. I wanted to write you a letter so you can read it when you wake up. Maybe it will make you happy. Throw it away, please.
But it will make me happy.
A merciful wind blows in from the bay of Revachol, dusting the ground at your feet and raising newspapers far away. You feel the card slipping into it.
No, we read
your
the card.
Your hands shake, holding onto it. Every morning when I step out and you're asleep behind me, it says, I find a little piece of sadness in me. I carry it in my chest, down Voyager Road. Every step I take, it grows. By the time I reach the fuel station, it has filled me entirely. I step onto the light rail and look back. Sparks fall from the bow collector. I know it will be like this until late afternoon, when I get off the 42 and walk back to you.
Keep reading.
You. Every step I take will get lighter. It almost makes me run. Sometimes I do. I can't believe I met you. I can't believe the happiness I feel with you. You have a vast, vast soul, and I will always, always, always come back to it. Kisses, kisses, kisses. You feel the air sucked out of your lungs and the blood sucked out of your head. Everything around you gets dark. Small white dots appear. You feel the ledger slip from your hand.
We will fall sideways. Well, I mean, this has been a thing. We will begin.
There is nothing. Again.
Nothing.
Nothing sad, brother. No treachery. Just blackout.
Alright, we'll just lie here, passed out.
Well, almost nothing. There is the ground below you. That's still there. And the small light that's on, fluttering, somewhere in the basal ganglia.
Who the heck's that?
That's me. Blue eyes, that's me.
Nice and quiet.
Is it? The world is gone. You are no longer reacting to outward stimuli, yet still.
A bitter, caustic sense of loss remains. Even in the darkness, great sorrows slip in the water.
No.
Slimy.
No, it was cool. I'm cool.
The cool when you're dead, brother.
Here in the paleo-mammalian cortex, we call it the shadow. Because it's always there.
Tell him. Tell him.
Ah, yes. In the olfactory system, they call it the apricot chewing gum scented one.
The apricot
It's
chewing gum
unhealthy
scented
of
one.
them to linger on it so. But as they say, what do you do?
Smelled so nice.
It didn't smell nice. It smelled like betrayal.
Was that the X something? The
Bloated corpse of the past resurfacing.
It was beautiful.
Beautiful. Believe me, stupid ape, its lack of beauty was not the problem.
Where is Voyager Road?
There is no Voyager Road. There are no roads, no houses, no lights in the windows. It's all on pause.
Alright, fine. We'll just lie here.
You think they would let you? Until you disintegrate into biomolecules? No. Someone is breathing on your face now, inspecting your pupils, stupid idiot.
What's that? It's cold.
Yes, they're pouring something on you. It's in you. And
It's delicious. Glowing lights on a dashboard emerge out of nothingness.
I don't want to be awake anymore.
To the upholstered cabin of Lieutenant Kitsuragi's motor carriage, seated in the driver's basket. The air is thick with leatherworks and heavy fuel oil. Cold water runs down your chin.
Drink. Water.
Drink.
The water is cold.
And we heal our
silvery,
health. Okay.
The stuff of life itself as it pours down your parched throat. The pounding in your head recedes. The darkness parts.
Drink.
Drink.
With greedy gulps, you down half a liter of cold water. Some of it spills on the driver's seat. The lieutenant pays no heed to it.
What happened?
I came into contact with the burnt out ruins of my past. That's probably the correct thing to say here, but...
That does sometimes happen.
Ledger of failure and hatred. Is how we got there.
You dropped these. Are you okay to proceed?
Let's solve this case.
Good.
That being said, I'm probably going to end the video here. We will save it, and we will probably return to this at some point, because I'm actually weirdly enjoying this, and it's been a really successful run-up to this stage. So we're halfway through day 1, really, in terms of things. We have done the autopsy successfully. We've met Everett Claire. We've got a bunch of tasks we have to do, and next time, some more. Maybe next week. We'll see how things go. So, thanks for joining us. Catch you later. Until then.